Chapter 2010. Chapter 2023. Notes 2? Therefore, Lin Yi hurriedly held on to Han Jingjing, and Han Jingjing fell into Lin Yi's arms. From an outsider's perspective, it looked like the two of them were hugging. Tiske, you haven't even settled one and now you're dealing with another. Aren't you tired, Huang? A sour voice sounded behind Lin Yi. Lin Yi turned around and found that it was Yu Coiling Tiger. What does it have to do with you? Second young master Yu, don't tell me your skin is itchy and you want to get beaten up again? Lin Yi looked at Yu Coiling Tiger coldly. Yu Coiling Tiger actually took a fancy to Han Jingjing and wanted to chase after her to have some fun. He didn't expect that Lin Yi would beat him to it, so he was naturally unhappy. Therefore when they met here he said such a sentence in a lukewarm tone. Lin Yi, in Boss Bai's class, you don't have to threaten me. Who's afraid of who? If you want to be expelled then beat me up. Yu Coiling Tiger looked at Lin Yi with disdain, as if a dead pig wasn't afraid of boiling water. What happened in Boss Bai's class? Lin Yi frowned slightly. Maybe there was something he didn't know. You don't know? Yu Coiling Tiger was also stunned, but he quickly explained, studying here, no matter which family or sect you come from, you have to coil up if you're a dragon and you have to lie down if you're a tiger. If you make a fuss here then you'll be expelled. After saying that, Yu Coiling Tiger looked at Lin Yi proudly, meaning that you don't dare to do anything to me this time, right? Although I can't beat you I can make you sick. Oh, so that's why you're called Yu Coiling Tiger. Han Jingjing nodded and said. What does this have to do with my name? Yu Coiling Tiger's face darkened and said, I'm just reminding you not to violate the rules. Don't think that you have any privileges because you're an alchemist. Who isn't an alchemist? You have to listen to Boss Bai here. Big brother Lin Yi, why did he say that you are an alchemist? Are you an alchemist? Han Jingjing looked at Lin Yi in surprise and asked. Of course he's an alchemist and he's very powerful. If you want to learn alchemy you can ask him and let him teach you. Right, Pan, who didn't mind causing some trouble for Lin Yi. Big brother Lin Yi, then why did you say that you don't know alchemy? Han Jingjing looked at Lin Yi strangely. Since Right Coiling Tiger is so enthusiastic then you can teach her alchemy. With that Lin Yi pointed at Right Coiling Tiger and said, he is an alchemist, you can ask him. Right Coiling Tiger, can you teach me alchemy? Han Jingjing turned her head and looked at Right Coiling Tiger. Right Coiling Tiger originally wanted to explore Lin Yi's background to see if he was an alchemist and how powerful he was. That was why he asked Han Jingjing to ask Lin Yi, but he didn't expect that he would shoot himself in the foot. Haha, our Yu family's alchemy can only be passed on to the people of the Yu family. It can't be passed on casually, Right Coiling Tiger said with a laugh. On the other hand, Lin Yi, you seem to be a rogue cultivator. You don't have so many rules, right? Quickly teach her your alchemy skills. If you want to pick up others you have to pay a little price. Before Right Coiling Tiger saw Lin Yi buy a broken medicine cauldron, he began to doubt whether Lin Yi knew alchemy or not. Which alchemist would buy that kind of trash? At this moment he also wanted to see if Lin Yi knew alchemy. I don't know alchemy, said Lin Yi faintly. Right Coiling Tiger didn't expect Lin Yi to answer so straightforwardly. This made him even more puzzled. Did Lin Yi know alchemy or not? Yeah, Lin Yi bro doesn't know how to concoct elixirs in the first place and we've been studying it. Yupan Hu, teach us if you know how to concoct elixirs. We're all classmates, don't hide anything. Han Jingjing said. I have something to do. I'll leave first. Right Coiling Tiger didn't dare to speak casually. Although a lot of alchemists' information was public, the Yu family's control of alchemy fire came from the Heavenly Elixir sect. It was improved. Right Coiling Tiger was afraid that he would make mistakes if he said too much, so he left first. Brother Lin Yi, why is he like this? He has good things but he doesn't share them with others. He's really bad. Han Jingjing looked at the back of Right Coiling Tiger and said unhappily, do you really want to learn alchemy? Lin Yi looked at Han Jingjing and felt more and more incredulous. Previously, Lin Yi thought that she was curious and would lose interest after a few days. But now it seemed that this wasn't the case. Now Han Jingjing couldn't use alchemy. He's simply possessed. Her analysis and research on alchemy have become formulaic. Don't use the word interested to describe her. Brother Lin Yi, why do you ask? Han Jingjing said, I have been studying alchemy. How can this be fake? Lin Yi nodded. He could see that Han Jingjing seemed to have a special fondness for alchemy. Have you been in contact with alchemy before? Why do you want to learn alchemy? Actually, I got an alchemist's notes, so I started to study alchemy. Han Jingjing said with some embarrassment. I'm sorry, Brother Lin Yi. I didn't know you very well before, so I didn't dare to tell you. I was afraid that you would take away my notes, but now I found out that you are a good person, so I won't hide it from you. Alchemist's notes? Lin Yi was shocked. You actually have such a thing? Where did you get it? The antique market. Han Jingjing said, but I have already scanned it into a picture and put it on the tablet. I will show it to you. Lin Yi didn't expect Han Jingjing to actually buy the alchemist's notes. This kind of thing could actually be bought, which made Lin Yi feel a little incredible. Han Jingjing quickly found the scanned version of the alchemist's notes on the tablet, then handed it to Lin Yi and said, Brother Lin Yi, it's here. Take a look. You can study it with me. Lin Yi took the tablet and looked at it carefully in his hand. Although this Han Jingjing looked silly, she didn't seem to be very stupid. At least before, she wasn't familiar with him, so she didn't tell him about the alchemist's notes. Now, as the relationship between the two became better, Han Jingjing took out the notes. However, what made Lin Yi feel strange was that there were only some records of the temperature control skills of the alchemy fire during alchemy and the pharmacological reactions between various medicinal materials. In other words, there was no mention of how to condense the alchemy fire from beginning to end. There were only these technical things. What are those things you wrote on the tablet? Lin Yi asked. Lin Yi had always been curious. Yesterday Han Jingjing said that it was scientific alchemy, but he didn't quite understand what she meant. He didn't know what those formulas represented. Chapter 2011. Chapter 2024. Being followed again. There's the temperature and fire control for all sorts of pills, as well as the changes of the ingredients in the cauldron at all times, but the senses, spirit, sixth sense and whatnot are all too fantastical. I don't think I can control them at all, and so I've put all these methods and techniques into precise mathematical, physical and chemical formulae. That way, when I can condense a refinement flame, I'll be able to make pills according to the formula, and I won't have to use my hands to feel the temperature or the changes of the ingredients. Han Jingjing said. That's a really crazy idea. Lin Yi had heard from Han Jingjing before that she wanted to make a combination of modern and ancient methods, but after her detailed explanation, Lin Yi realized just how crazy her idea was. Even the ancient sects wouldn't have thought of using scientific methods like this, let alone Lin Yi. He didn't think that Han Jingjing would be so creative as to start researching this, whether she could succeed or not. Just this idea alone was more amazing than anyone else. Are you complimenting me, Lin Yi bro? Han Jingjing was pleasantly surprised but then a little depressed. I'm actually very stupid. I've been researching this for so long, and I still haven't figured out how to condense a refinement flame. It's not even on the internet and I can't even buy a book on it. Condensing a refinement flame. I'll help you think of something. Lin Yi said hesitantly. He didn't directly say that he had the incantation for condensing the refinement fire. That would be too fake. It would be as if he was exchanging the incantation for the refinement fire just because Han Jingjing showed him the notes. It would seem a little snobbish. And so Lin Yi decided to tell Han Jingjing about it later. That way it wouldn't be too sudden. Alright, thank you Lin Yi bro. Han Jingjing didn't seem to suspect anything at all as she walked into the classroom with Lin Yi. Lin Yi sat next to Xinyan after entering the classroom, and Han Jingjing sat in the seat behind him obediently. She didn't fight to sit next to Lin Yi either. Brother Lin, you're here? The results of the freshmen's evening party are out. Our class won first place in the singing program. Bai Weituo said excitedly when he saw Lin Yi. The results are out so soon? Lin Yi was a little surprised. Actually, it came out last night, but it was only announced this morning. Bai Weituo said, first place. This is the first time in the history of our medical profession has won an award. Moreover, it's amazing. But if Zhang Duopan wants to go back on his word, there's nothing we can do about it, Lin Yi said. Yeah, that brat is too wicked. He was the one who invited the celebrity first, yet he still said those words. He's really bad. Bai Weituo said helplessly, but it's also good. Let he may see his face clearly and avoid contact with him in the future. Ahem, quiet down. Class is about to begin. Boss Bai knocked on the door frame of the teacher's room and strode into the classroom. The noisy classroom suddenly became quiet. Bai Weituo was so scared that he hurried back to his seat. Boss Bai was very satisfied with everyone's performance. He nodded and walked to the podium. Everyone did well in yesterday's freshman's evening party. I would like to commend you. It's been many years since our medical profession won an award in the freshman's evening party. Even the art festival and the sports meet didn't have anything to do with our class. But a miracle happened because of you. I hope this is a good start. Everyone keep up the good work and strive to get a good ranking in other activities so that I, Boss Bai, can be proud. Sai, how is that possible? This time it's because of the superstar. Yeah, without the superstar's help our class can't do it. Quiet down, I don't think everyone is very enthusiastic. But there's one thing I forgot to tell you. You won first place in the singing program of the freshman's evening party. I'm going to reward each of you with 2 credits. In the future, if you get a good ranking in other activities, you will also be rewarded according to your ranking. If you don't want to continue asking for the reward, then forget I said anything. Boss Bai narrowed his eyes and said lightly. Of course, why not? We'll definitely win next time. That's right, under the leadership of the class monitor we must win. 2 credits, we can graduate in advance if we have enough credits. Even the expressionless right-coiling tiger was overjoyed when he heard that there was a reward of 2 credits. If he could graduate in advance from Boss Bai's hands, it would also be an honor. In the future he would become an elder in the family. It would also leave a heavy mark on his qualifications. He was a little glad that he participated in the freshman's evening party this time. If he didn't go on stage, Boss Bai would probably leave him behind when he rewarded the credits. Okay, that's all. Now let's continue the class. In this class, we will continue to talk about the pharmacology of some common herbs. As Boss Bai spoke, he opened the textbook and began to teach. Han Jingjing, who had been writing and drawing, also put down the tablet in her hands at this moment and listened attentively to Boss Bai's lecture. The morning passed in the blink of an eye. When the class was over, Boss Bai gestured to Lin Yi and said, "Lin Yi, come with me." Lin Yi nodded. He wasn't surprised. Boss Bai had said before that after the freshman's evening party, he would go to him and teach him some unexpected knowledge. Right-coiling tiger looked at Lin Yi with some envy and jealousy. Although he didn't know why Boss Bai was looking for Lin Yi, this kind of obvious personal friendship made right-coiling tiger want to swap places with Lin Yi. He had been looking for opportunities to please Boss Bai, but there was no suitable one. Thinking of this, right-coiling tiger got up and followed Lin Yi and Boss Bai out of the classroom. Sometimes opportunities were created by oneself, so right-coiling tiger planned to try his luck. Lin Yi followed Boss Bai out of the classroom and walked in the direction of the faculty building of the biology department. However, as soon as he left the teaching building, Lin Yi felt that someone was following him. This was an intuition and it had nothing to do with the jade pendant. Because the person following him had no malicious intentions, the jade pendant didn't give any warning. Right-coiling tiger? Lin Yi frowned and found that the person following him in the crowd was actually right-coiling tiger. Boss Bai, someone is following us. It's right-coiling tiger, said Lin Yi. Oh, right-coiling tiger? Boss Bai looked back and said, don't worry about him. Oh, since Boss Bai said that he didn't need to worry about him, Lin Yi naturally didn't do anything and followed Boss Bai into the faculty building of the biology department. Chapter 2012. Chapter 2025. He was deaf. Right-coiling tiger followed him sneakily. Lin Yi found it funny that Tiger Right thought that nobody had noticed him. When he entered Boss Bai's office, he intentionally left the door half-closed. After lingering at the door for a while, Tiger Right came over. Right-coiling tiger was overjoyed. The door wasn't closed and he wanted to pretend to enter by chance to join in the fun. However, Lin Yi pushed the door shut with a bang. The metal door directly hit right-coiling tiger's nose. Right-coiling tiger's nose started to bleed. Right-coiling tiger let out a shrill scream. Lil E, what was that sound? White Boss also heard Tiger Yu's scream, but he didn't see him outside the door. I don't know. Maybe I caught a mouse when I closed the door, Lin Yi said. There are rats here. It seems that I have to buy some rat poison tomorrow. Don't take my medicinal materials. Boss Bai nodded and said. Boss Bai, you're looking for me? Lin Yi asked hesitantly. Have a seat first. Boss Bai, however, invited Lin Yi to sit down unhurriedly. Then he poured out some tea leaves from a small iron pot. These are the tea leaves that I grew myself. Have a taste. Well, Boss Bai, you didn't invite me here just for tea, did you? Lin Yi smiled bitterly. To tell you the truth, I don't know much about the tea ceremony and I don't drink this stuff. My old man grows it too, but we usually use it to cook tea eggs. Pooh. Boss Bai made a cup of tea for himself and Lin Yi respectively. Picking up his own cup, he savored the fragrance of the tea. However, he was so shocked by Lin Yi's words that he spat out all the tea in his mouth. Lil, this tea is worth tens of thousands of yuan a tael in the market, and I added some other elements when I planted it, so it's worth more than tens of thousands. You're actually using it to cook tea eggs? So, don't waste it on me. Lin Yi shrugged and said, Boss Bai, let's get down to business, shall we? Alright. Boss Bai put down the teacup and said, although everyone in your class is my student, students are different. Among these students, I was going to find a talented student to teach him some special medical knowledge, but you and I are destined to meet each other and you saved my life, so, at this point Boss Bai paused. He squinted at Lin Yi, waiting for his answer. Boss Bai, if you have something to say, just say it. I can't guess it if you are so secretive. Lin Yi smiled bitterly. You look like you're not willing to learn. You have to know that the right coiling tiger and whatnot is something that people would rack their brains to learn, but there's no chance. Boss Bai said. At the door, the right coiling tiger was listening to the intermittent conversation between Lin Yi and Boss Bai. When he heard that Boss Bai was going to teach Lin Yi some special medical knowledge, he was very envious and secretly cursed Lin Yi for being so lucky. Why was he valued by Boss Bai? Moreover, from Lin Yi's tone, it seemed that he was not interested and didn't want to learn. The right coiling tiger almost pushed the door open and went in, yelling, if you don't want to learn, then give the opportunity to me. You won't agree even if you keep nagging, so what if I beg you to learn? However, from what Boss Bai said, it seemed that he wanted to beg Lin Yi to learn, or else why would he use him as an example? Moreover, it seemed that Boss Bai said that Lin Yi was his life savior. When did Lin Yi save his life? This series of questions made the right coiling tiger's ear stick even tighter. However, after that, there was no sound in the room, which made the right coiling tiger a little confused. Could it be that the two were secretly whispering to each other? Therefore, the right coiling tiger's ear stuck even tighter. As a result, just when he wanted to listen more carefully, there was a sudden loud noise in his ear. Boom. It almost pierced the right coiling tiger's eardrum and he let out a scream. Aw. Lin Yi knew that Boss Bai was going to tell him something confidential, so he deliberately smiled bitterly to stall for some time. Then he quickly kicked the iron door of the office and tragedy struck the right coiling tiger. The right coiling tiger was shaken to the ground and covered his ears. His eyes were full of little stars twinkling. He was so dizzy that he didn't know which way to go. Lil Yi, why did you kick my door? Boss Bai smacked his lips. Although the door is iron, it's easy to break if you kick it like that. You know, Lin Yi walked back after kicking the door. There's a big mouse outside the door and it always wants to eavesdrop. It's okay. It doesn't matter if he hears it. Boss Bai waved his hand. Because the things he wanted to teach Lin Yi, the right coiling tiger also knew, there was no need to hide anything. Even if the right coiling tiger heard it, it didn't matter. Of course, as for those key things, Boss Bai organized them into books, and the right coiling tiger couldn't see them even if he wanted to. It doesn't matter? Lin Yi was slightly stunned and he was a little puzzled. Why didn't he hide it from the right coiling tiger? Could it be that the right coiling tiger and Boss Bai had a very good relationship? Okay, I won't beat around the bush with you anymore. Have you ever heard of alchemy? Boss Bai's eyes suddenly narrowed. Alchemy? Lin Yi's eyes widened and he looked at Boss Bai in disbelief. Why did he only hear alchemy these days? Han Jingjing alchemy, the right coiling tiger alchemy, and Boss Bai alchemy too. Was alchemy popular now? How is it? You don't understand the true meaning of alchemy, do you? Boss Bai said, the so-called alchemy here is not the ordinary mixing of several medicinal materials and then condensing them into pills. I know. You're talking about the alchemists who use alchemy fire to temper medicinal materials and condense them into pills, said Lin Yi. You know. Boss Bai was a little surprised after hearing Lin Yi's words. You've also heard of alchemists? Isn't the right coiling tiger an alchemist? So you said that you wouldn't hide it from him. So it's about alchemists, said Lin Yi in realization. Yes, the right coiling tiger is a first-level yellow-level alchemist, but he's already close to the second level. He's a good seedling, but I don't really like this person's character. Boss Bai nodded and said, this kid has some skills? Lin Yi frowned and was a little shocked. He didn't expect Boss Bai to praise the right coiling tiger so much. But to be honest, if the right coiling tiger was really a first-level yellow-level alchemist that was close to the second level, then even if he wasn't the head of the Yu family, it was enough for him to have a very important position in the Yu family. No wonder there were so many masters around him. But I didn't expect that you actually know about alchemists. Then did you apply for medicine this time because you heard about it? Boss Bai looked at Lin Yi with some doubt. Chapter 2013. Chapter 2026. True Identity. True Identity. Then he shook his head and said, I'm afraid not. You don't even know me and you don't even want to learn when I want to teach you alchemy. I don't think you came because of my reputation. Teach me alchemy? I want to learn. Lin Yi quickly nodded. Ahem. Can you change your face faster? Boss Bai was a bit speechless. You didn't look interested before, did you? I didn't know you were going to teach me alchemy. If you told me earlier, I wouldn't have to wait until the end of the freshman party. I would have come to learn already. Lin Yi was very excited at this moment. When Boss Bai said he would teach him alchemy, Lin Yi was so excited that he almost jumped up. For a long time, alchemy had been one of Lin Yi's biggest worries. Although it seemed that Lin Yi didn't study alchemy, in fact it was not that Lin Yi didn't want to study alchemy but that he couldn't. Alchemy fire could be condensed, but once the intensity and temperature of the alchemy fire were changed, the alchemy fire would be extinguished. Therefore it was not that Lin Yi didn't want to study alchemy, but he had no way at all. He could only wait for an opportunity to learn alchemy. There was no hope from Yu Coiling Tiger, so Lin Yi had to find a new way. However, he didn't expect that sometimes, things that he couldn't find even after searching for so long could be found without any effort. This Boss Bai was actually an alchemist? Lin Yi really wanted to cry. He was so lucky that the person he saved was an alchemist and he almost missed such a good opportunity. If he didn't accidentally apply for Donghai Industry University and accidentally become Boss Bai's student, it would be very difficult to meet Boss Bai again. I thought you were not interested in anything. You were so arrogant before and now you are begging me, right? Boss Bai heard Lin Yi's words and felt very happy. Haha, I said you would become mine sooner or later. How about now? Yes. I was originally your student. Lin Yi smiled bitterly. Now that he was under someone else's roof, he had to lower his head. Haha, are you begging me? If you beg me, I'll teach you. Boss Bai crossed his legs and picked up the teacup in front of him. Smelling the fragrance of the tea, he sipped the tea leisurely and looked at Lin Yi with a vague smile. Oh, Boss Bai, please. Lin Yi felt disgusted. This Boss Bai had a lot of bad interests. However, for Xiao, Lin Yi would even kowtow to him, not to mention begging. Moreover, since ancient times, a teacher was like a father. It was not inappropriate for Lin Yi to bow to his teacher. Why are you so quiet? I didn't hear you. You don't want to learn? Fine, you can go back. Come back when you have made up your mind. Boss Bai said. Lin Yi did not know what to say, but he still said aloud, I want to learn. Boss Bai, please recruit me. Ah, see, I knew it. Boss Bai laughed. In that case, I'll reluctantly teach you some knowledge outside of the classroom. Thank you, Boss Bai. Lin Yi said quickly. No need to thank me, but the foundation of an alchemist must be a swordsman. Do you know what a swordsman is? Boss Bai waved his hand, his face returned to normal and asked seriously. I know. Lin Yi nodded, but he suddenly had some doubts. When Lin Yi treated Boss Bai before, he felt that Boss Bai was not a swordsman, and his meridians were broken and blocked, which was impossible. Could it be that Boss Bai was a swordsman? But Lin Yi had never heard that a swordsman could make alchemy than Boss Bai. Thinking of this, Lin Yi looked at Boss Bai strangely. Boss Bai, are you a swordsman? No. Boss Bai shook his head. Then do you know alchemy? Lin Yi was a little confused by Boss Bai's straightforward answer. Well, Boss Bai still shook his head. Then aren't you teaching me alchemy? Lin Yi looked at Boss Bai and asked with some surprise and doubt. It's alchemy. Boss Bai said, I haven't finished yet. I am not a swordsman now, nor am I an alchemist, but I used to be one. How did this song come about? I haven't been an alchemist for many years. Lin Yi was a little speechless. This old man looked quite funny. However, he used to be an alchemist but not now, so there was no problem in teaching. Just like Faubert, although he could no longer use the frenzied fire fist, he could still guide Lin Yi to activate and practice it. What, you don't believe me? Boss Bai saw Lin Yi's disappointed eyes and stared at him. Did you see that? That coiling tiger, right? And the others are also from an alchemy family. How difficult is it for them to learn something from me? Of course not. It's just strange. You were an alchemist back then and you looked like you were really strong. How did you get your meridians broken? Or maybe it's blocked. You look so pitiful. Lin Yi smiled bitterly. Who said that I was beaten by someone? I was possessed when I was refining alchemy, and the medicine cauldron exploded. Boss Bai glared and said, if I wasn't injured by the explosion with my alchemy ability, I wouldn't be an ordinary lecturer here. Back then, those ancient sects and ancient families begged Grandpa to ask me to refine alchemy, but I didn't pay attention to them. Lin Yi took in a cold breath after hearing Boss Bai's words. This guy used to be a top-level elixir refiner? Moreover, he seemed to be a very awesome one. No wonder Coiling Tiger right and the others didn't dare to be rash in front of him, and he even said some strange things to him in the morning. Turned out that Boss Bai was really an awesome person. How is it? Scared, right? Since you know about them, then you must know about the hidden houses, and ancient sects. Boss Bai looked at Lin Yi proudly. Got it. Lin Yi took a deep breath. Boss Bai, I didn't know that you were such a legendary person. Legendary? That's all in the past. I'm a useless person now. I can teach disciples but I can't refine elixirs anymore. Boss Bai shook his head in self-mockery. I, Zhang Liju, can't end with my generation. So I found 2 disciples and one of them is you. What? Zhang Liju? Lin Yi almost choked to death. The miracle Dr. Zhang Liju? You've heard of his name? You come from a medical family, so it's not surprising that you know this person. Chapter 2014. Boss Bai nodded. That's right, I'm Zhang Liju's disciple. But back then my Shifu only left behind an incomplete elixir refiner's notes. And he didn't even pass on the refiner's fire to me before he died. I only became a master elixir refiner with my talent. And it actually doesn't have much to do with being Zhang Liju's disciple. It's just that my name is a bit scary. Lin Yi didn't understand. Your Shifu died right after he passed you a refiner's notes? Yeah, he went crazy during elixir refinery and died from the explosion of the cauldron. But I was luckier than him and my medical skills were better than his, so I survived. When he met me, his medical skills weren't good enough, so he died, Boss Bai said. Lin Yi was a bit speechless. Chapter 2027. Dream. But he could vaguely tell that Zhang Liju's sect didn't have many inheritances left. These elixirs were passed down from generation to generation, and Boss Bai's situation wasn't uncommon. The previous generation died and the next generation didn't even have time to take over. As a result, Zhang Liju left behind fewer and fewer essences, and most of them had to rely on their own research. But Boss Bai's title as Zhang Liju's disciple really shocked Lin Yi. He had been Zhang Liju's disciple for many generations, and if he was Zhang Liju's disciple, wouldn't that make him Boss Bai's master? Of course, Lin Yi was just thinking about it. After all, he only got some of Zhang Liju's belongings and he wasn't really Zhang Liju's disciple. So he didn't have any mental burden to become Boss Bai's disciple, and it was more like returning to his roots. Don't worry, as long as you don't try to cross levels and make those insane elixirs, you won't die. Boss Bai saw Lin Yi's shocked expression and thought that Lin Yi was scared, so he quickly explained, our elixir refinery has reached a bottleneck. Chapter 2027. Dream. Always wanted to make a breakthrough and refine a higher grade of elixir. I couldn't control the elixir fire as I wished, so the cauldron exploded. If you were only refining ordinary elixirs, there wouldn't be any danger. At most you would fail, but you wouldn't be injured. Lin Yi shook his head. Boss Bai obviously misunderstood him. Moreover, why would Lin Yi be afraid of getting hurt? Even if the medicine cauldron exploded and injured Lin Yi had the space of the jade pendant. What was there to be afraid of? As long as he was not killed by the explosion, he would be able to recover as long as he was still breathing. Also, according to Boss Bai, they had been passed down from generation to generation, which meant that even if the furnace exploded during alchemy, he would not die immediately. At least he could survive for a while and make funeral arrangements. Therefore, when Lin Yi had the time to make funeral arrangements, he had already returned to normal. No, I'm not worried about that. I'm just shocked. Lin Yi said, if I guessed correctly, the information you got should be good. and you became an alchemist grandmaster through your own exploration. How awesome is that? That's true. Boss Bai nodded and said, before my master died he passed on his knowledge to two people. One is me and the other may not be talented enough, so he disappeared after getting the secret book. However, my master was also desperate. He was dying and he couldn't choose a successor. Lin Yi nodded. If it weren't for Boss Bai's talent he might really have been lost. So I'm preparing for a rainy day and finding a successor before I die. When I die it will be too late to find a successor. Boss Bai said, besides my master had a lot of knowledge but he didn't summarize it into a book. The alchemist's notes were organized by his master. Although it was not bad, many of his own theories were not preserved. His master's alchemy skills were actually not as good as his. Well, Lin Yi smiled bitterly. In fact, many sects were like this now. Many mental techniques and martial arts were kept secret, which resulted in a chain reaction if something happened to the person who guarded those mental techniques and martial arts. But I'm smart enough to have organized a book based on his foundation and it's unique. As long as you thoroughly learn what I know, then there will be no problem to become a top alchemist. Boss Bai said. Really? Lin Yi's eyes widened and he was very excited. Wasn't this what Lin Yi dreamed of? Of course it's true. Why would I lie to you about this? Boss Bai said, do you not believe in my teaching level or do you not believe in your own ability? Speaking of ability, if you aren't made for it then there's nothing I can do. Lin Yi's heart skipped a beat at Boss Bai's words. Not made for it. Even with Zhang Liju's notes he couldn't learn anything from it. Could it be that he really wasn't made for it? Of course, Lin Yi didn't mention anything about Zhang Liju's notes. After all, this was a very important matter and Lin Yi understood that he was only an Earth class early phase peak. All the hidden House Yu needed to do was move out and kill him. Even if House Yu didn't eavesdrop, there was no way Lin Yi would say these things right now. Even if he were to show these things to Boss Bai, he'd have to wait until he was strong enough to do so. Otherwise, it'd be just like the recipe for the pill of life extension and toxin cleansing. Too many people coveted it and it'd even cause Guan Xin to be kidnapped. Even a normal recipe was like that, let alone Zhang Liju's refiner's notes. There were many lost recipes in there and Lin Yi couldn't just show them to anyone. As for Boss Bai's injuries and broken meridians, while Lin Yi might have a way to heal him, Lin Yi didn't do it. After all, Boss Bai was simply too famous, so famous that even the ancient sects knew of his existence. If his meridians suddenly healed, wouldn't these people be suspicious? Plus, the damage to Boss Bai's meridians was a little strange. If Lin Yi's guess was correct, not only were his meridians broken, but there was also a lot of refinement fire poison caused by the deviation inside. For something like this, Lin Yi had no confidence in clearing it. The poison of elixir fire was different from the poison of regular true qi. Elixir fire was another form of existence transformed from true qi. Even Lin Yi himself could not control the elixir fire as he wished. How could he get rid of the elixir fire in Boss Bai's body? If he wasn't careful, the refinement fire poison might backfire on him again. That would be the real fire. Target equals underwake. Chapter 2015. So, even if Lin Yi wanted to heal Boss Bai, he had to completely grasp the art of condensing the refinement fire, and he had to have a certain level of strength himself. Otherwise he would be courting death. After all, the meridians of Qintian and the others around Lin Yi could be healed with meridian opening pill or small rejuvenation pill. Even if people suspected it, it could be explained, and the strange phenomenon on Lin Yi's body could be explained with special arts. But if Boss Bai suddenly healed, it would be a big problem. Boss Bai was an alchemist in the first place and he could definitely get things like meridian opening pill or small rejuvenation pill. If his injuries that he couldn't heal were healed by Lin Yi, it wouldn't be a good thing for Lin Yi right now. Generally, no one would covet mental cultivation techniques. After all, most of the time, those things couldn't be cultivated even if they were snatched away. Many ancient sects and ancient families had top-grade mental cultivation techniques, but the number of people who could cultivate them was very few. Just like the chrysanthemum treasured law and the heaven-defying divine art, such mental cultivation techniques were top-grade existences, but not everyone could cultivate them. This was also why no one coveted Lin Yi's arts. Many people had good things but they couldn't practice them. Just like House Sun's arts, other than those with the blood of House Sun, no one else could practice it. Lin Yi wasn't afraid that someone would steal his arts, But he was afraid that he wasn't strong enough and would be forced to help others heal. Then Linny wouldn't have to do anything else. How can you tell if I'm made for alchemists? Linny asked. Let me ask you something. Are you a cultivator? You need to answer truthfully. Boss Bai asked. Yes. Linny nodded without hesitation. It wasn't a secret that he was a cultivator and many people knew about it. What's your strength? Boss Bai continued to ask. Earth class. Linny only vaguely described his range of strength, but he didn't specify every rank. After all, Tiger Right was at the door and Linny didn't want him to know his details. Earth class. When Boss Bai heard that Linny was a cultivator, he didn't have the slightest doubt, but when he heard that Linny was an Earth rank master, he showed a shocked expression for the first time. You are an Earth rank master? Yes. Linny nodded. Is there anything wrong? Are you sure that you are not a disciple of a hidden family or an ancient sect? Boss Bai looked at Linny weirdly. Oh. Linny said, I'm a loose cultivator. An unaffiliated cultivator can reach the Earth rank? Boss Bai shook his head. You're really special. Since I'm a cultivator, I don't need to cultivate the alchemist's auxiliary mental cultivation method. I can just try to condense the alchemy fire. Boss Bai said, this is a book on the refinement of fire. As for the supplementary training methods, you can skip over them. There's no need to read them. You gave it to me just like that? Lin Yi's hands trembled a little. He didn't expect Boss Bai to be so generous and give him such an important thing directly, which surprised him. Yes, you can give it back to me if you don't want it. Boss Bai said. It's not that I don't want it, it's that, you are not afraid that I will leak it? Lin Yi felt it was a little unreal. You mean these things? Boss Bai pointed at the information in Lin Yi's hands and said, if you want to leak it, that's up to you. But I guess that even if you show it to Quilling Tiger Right, he won't read it. This is the common mental cultivation method and refinement of fire for alchemy masters. There's nothing special about it. It's a rare thing in the secular world, but I'm afraid that all the hidden families with a little bit of connections will have it. Even the ordinary library of the ancient sects and ancient families have it. This thing is from a street stall? Didn't you conclude it yourself? Lin Yi didn't know what to say about Boss Bai's statement. This isn't my conclusion. I already said that before my master died, he didn't pass on the refinement of fire to me. What he gave me was only some alchemy experience and it was not complete. Boss Bai said, this can also be said to be from a street stall. Even if it's not, it won't be kept a secret. No way. Lin Yi looked at the deputy main mental cultivation method and refinement of fire in his hands. He was excited for a long time, but it turned out that this thing was so ordinary. Actually, the Yu family's condensing mental cultivation method is also improved on this basis. It should be much better than this. The auxiliary mental cultivation method and the alchemy fire condensing mental cultivation method that Yu Quilling Tiger cultivates are unique to the Yu family, Boss Bai said. Then why did Quilling Tiger Right come to you? Lin Yi asked curiously. He didn't come here to learn these, but the methods of refining various elixirs that I summarized, some skills of alchemy fire control, and some knowledge of pharmacological properties. Boss Bai said. Doesn't that mean that Quilling Tiger Right doesn't even want to learn? You want me to learn? Lin Yi looked at the information in his hands with a bitter smile and said, don't you have any good secret manuals? No. Boss Bai sighed. Actually, these mental cultivation methods, as long as they are cultivated, it's all the same. It's just a matter of personal habit. The ultimate goal is to transform one's true qi into alchemy fire through a section of the mental cultivation method. The purpose is the same, so I'm familiar with this refinement of fire, and I don't bother to learn other mental cultivation methods. Then haven't you thought about your disciple? Lin Yi asked speechlessly. At that time I was young and impetuous. How could I consider so much? At that time, if I wanted to, it wouldn't be a problem for me to use high-level elixirs to exchange for some of the alchemist's mental cultivation methods and refinement fire condensing mental cultivation methods from the heavenly elixir sect, but I didn't think it was meaningful and useful at that time. Boss Bai shook his head and sighed. Well, I'm afraid they won't give it to me even if I want it, unless I exchange it with my life's experience, but I'm not willing to. So that's how it is. Lin Yi nodded. Looking at the information in his hands, his heart was cold and he wanted to cry, but no tears came out. If the mental cultivation methods and refinement fire condensing mental cultivation methods were the most basic stuff on the street, then it might not even be as good as the one he got from Zhang Liju's tomb. The one in Zhang Liju's tomb had already made Lin Yi back off, and this probably wouldn't be any better, right? Thinking of this, Lin Yi suddenly felt a little discouraged. Alright, go back and try the refinement fire condensing mental cultivation method written here. If you have any problems, come to me anytime. Boss Bai said. I haven't had lunch yet, hurry up and go eat. I'm going to sleep too. I still have a question, Lin Yi said after some hesitation. Target equals under the wake. Chapter 2016. What's the problem? Boss Bai asked. Bai Wei Kai and Bai Wei Tuo, can't they become alchemists? Why don't you teach them alchemy? Lin Yi asked. Their aptitude is too poor. They can't even practice auxiliary mental cultivation methods, let alone condense alchemy fire. Boss Bai shook his head. Do you think it's so easy to become an alchemist? The prerequisite is that one must be a cultivator in order to become an alchemist. If one isn't even a cultivator, alchemy is just wishful thinking. I see. Boss Bai's words made Lin Yi's heart sink. Bai Wei Kai and Bai Wei Tuo couldn't do it, and Lin Yi wasn't a person with extraordinary aptitude. Although he was called a genius by many people, Lin Yi knew himself best. If it weren't for the fact that he could practice the art of dragon mastery, he would just be an ordinary person. Right Coiling Tiger had been lingering in front of Boss Bai's office and didn't leave. However, after being shocked by Lin Yi, he didn't dare to put his ear too close to the door. He was afraid that Lin Yi would perforate his eardrum again. That would be a tragedy. Therefore, Right Coiling Tiger didn't hear the conversation between Lin Yi and Boss Bai clearly. He only heard that Boss Bai said that he wanted to take Lin Yi as a disciple and passed something to him. Then he seemed to mention the Right family, but he didn't understand. Looking at the silent iron door, Right Coiling Tiger was a little regretful. If he knew this would happen, he would have put his ear on the door. At least he wouldn't have heard nothing later. Thinking of this, Right Coiling Tiger put his ear on the door again unwillingly, trying to hear some useful information. As a result, when his ear just stuck to the door, the tragedy happened again. The door made a loud dong sound. Right Coiling Tiger shivered in fear. His hair all stood up and his ears were buzzing. His head swelled and he saw stars. He was directly shaken to the ground. Lin Yi didn't think that Coiling Tiger was still eavesdropping. He'd only given the door a try before he left, not expecting to see Coiling Tiger sitting on the ground, dizzy from the shock as soon as he pulled the door open. Fuck Lin Yi, did you fucking do it on purpose? When Right Coiling Tiger saw Lin Yi, he immediately gritted his teeth in anger. On purpose? What do you mean? Lin Yi found it a little funny, but he didn't show it on his face. Why did you kick the door for no reason? Right Panhu said angrily. I kicked the door. It doesn't seem to have anything to do with you, right? Lin Yi asked curiously, could it be that you were eavesdropping just now? Who was eavesdropping? I just wanted to knock on the door. I have something to discuss with Boss Bai. Panhu, you naturally wouldn't admit that he wanted to eavesdrop. Oh, I just accidentally tripped and kicked the door. I'm sorry, said Lin Yi. You're lying. You clearly kicked the door just now. Right Coiling Tiger was in a hurry and actually spilled the beans. You kicked the door twice in a row. It was obviously intentional. Just now. How did you know just now? Could it be that you have been eavesdropping at the door? Lin Yi looked at Right Coiling Tiger with a faint smile. Right Coiling Tiger then realized that he had spilled the beans. He was a little embarrassed, but fortunately this guy was thick-skinned. What eavesdropping? I also came to find Boss Bai before, but I saw you inside, so I left first. Now I'm back to see if you left so I can go find Boss Bai. Well, then you go in. Boss Bai is going to take a nap. He may not have time to receive you, said Lin Yi. I won't go first. Let's talk about it another day. Right Coiling Tiger estimated that Boss Bai had just passed some good things to Lin Yi today. He definitely wouldn't be in the mood to give him any more benefits. It was better to come again at another time. Moreover, he also wanted to know what the thing in Lin Yi's hand was. Up to you. Lin Yi sneered, but he was too lazy to expose him again. By the way, Lin Yi, what is that thing in your hand? Did Boss Bai give it to you? Right Coiling Tiger pointed at the information in Lin Yi's hand and asked curiously. What are you doing? Lin Yi suddenly withdrew his hand and put the information behind him. He looked at Right Coiling Tiger with a vigilant look. "Ha, Student Lin, what are you doing? Aren't you too nervous? I was just asking casually. Do you have to be like this?" Right Coiling Tiger saw Lin Yi's actions and was even more certain that Lin Yi was holding some good information that Boss Spy had passed to Lin Yi. So he said, "Could it be some good treasure? It's just some information that Boss Spy gave me." "It's not a good treasure," said Lin Yi lightly. "Oh, since it's not a good treasure, how about letting me see it?" Right Coiling Tiger asked. "No way." Lin Yi directly rejected Right Coiling Tiger's proposal. "Boss Spy said that you probably don't want to see this thing. Your Yu family has a deep foundation, you won't be interested in this." How can that be? Boss Spy's prestige is quite high and his ability is also. Tiske so, to be able to see the information that Boss Spy gave me is a great honor. Right Coiling Tiger wasn't trying to flatter Lin Yi. He was speaking from the bottom of his heart. If he didn't really want to learn from Boss Spy, why would he apply for the biology department of Donghai Industry University and become an ordinary student? If he had the time to make elixirs or have fun, it would be great. "Oh, that's still not possible," Lin Yi said firmly. "If I say no, then no." There's no room for negotiation?" Right Coiling Tiger asked, unwilling to give up. "Do you think I'm stupid? Why should I show it to you? Do you think we have a good relationship? Not only did you scold Wang Xinyan, but you also wanted to kill me in the bowling alley. Do you think I'll show it to you?" Lin Yi looked at Right Coiling Tiger as if he was looking at an idiot. "You don't have to talk nonsense. Hey Lin Yi, since you've already fallen out with me, do you think that there's no one left in the Yu family? Even if you're an Earth-class late-phase peak master, so what if you can kill 3 Earth-class masters in a second? You're not a Sky-class master after all." Right Coiling Tiger heard that Lin Yi had fallen out with him and that his soft approach didn't work. "Okay, you dare to steal Boss Spy's things? Your Yu family is really something." Lin Yi curled his lips. "If that's the case, then just call a Sky-class master to steal it from Boss Spy." "Oh right, Boss Spy isn't a practitioner right now. Just call the yellow hair or purple hair beside you and they'll be able to take care of him. There's no need for a Sky-class master." This. Right Coiling Tiger's mouth twitched twice before he realized who gave the thing to Lin Yi. Stealing Boss Spy's things, Right Coiling Tiger wouldn't dare. Chapter 2017. Just now, Right Coiling Tiger was just threatening Lin Yi, so he didn't think so much. Now that Lin Yi actually dragged Boss Spy into it, how could he snatch it? Although the information was now with Lin Yi, wasn't robbing Lin Yi the same as robbing Boss Spy? Right Coiling Tiger definitely didn't dare to do this kind of thing, unless he didn't want to live anymore. One must know that the people of the Heavenly Elixir sect would sometimes compare some alchemy skills with Boss Spy. Right Coiling Tiger didn't have such guts. "What? Are you listless? You just told me in the morning that alchemists and cultivators are all floating clouds in front of Boss Spy. Right Coiling Tiger, you still want to show off with the masters of the Right family?" Lin Yi looked at Right Coiling Tiger with a sneer. "Fuck, if you don't want to give it to me, then don't give it to me. I was just joking." Right Coiling Tiger waved his hand and snorted. "You Lin Yi are not scared. Are you afraid of a few words? I don't believe it." "Since you don't believe it, please. I don't have time to talk nonsense with you," Lin Yi said and strode away with the information. Looking at the back of Lin Yi leaving, Right Coiling Tiger was so angry that he gritted his teeth. "Why are you so arrogant? What the hell? Didn't you just accidentally save Boss Spy once? You're so arrogant just because you got some good treasures." However, Right Coiling Tiger was obviously the type to say sour grapes. He looked at Boss Spy's office, hesitated, and still didn't knock on the door. Instead, he turned around and followed Lin Yi out of the faculty building of the biology department. Right Coiling Tiger was a little unwilling. He really wanted to know what the information in Lin Yi's hands was, but Lin Yi was obviously not stupid. He wouldn't let him see it for free, so Right Coiling Tiger was thinking if he could find some benefits to exchange with Lin Yi. After all, the purpose of studying here was actually to learn some knowledge from Boss Spy. Now that Lin Yi got it, it seemed worth it to pay a little price to exchange the information from Lin Yi. But how could he move Lin Yi's heart? He hesitated and decided to discuss it with his family when he had the time. He wanted to see if there was anything he could use to trade with Lin Yi. If that didn't work, he could buy it with money. But he couldn't rob it. If this thing was not given to Lin Yi by Coiling Tiger, right Coiling Tiger might have really robbed it, but now was definitely not. Lin Yi watched right Coiling Tiger wander behind him and didn't pay attention to him. Before, Lin Yi deliberately didn't show the information in his hands to right Coiling Tiger. Although the information was not important, Lin Yi wanted to deliberately annoy right Coiling Tiger. This guy seemed to be eavesdropping, so Lin Yi didn't mind using what he said in the morning to deal with him. As long as he didn't dare to make trouble in front of Boss Bai, then Lin Yi wasn't afraid of him. Even if it was an ordinary street item, Lin Yi didn't want to show it to him on purpose. It was just that what Lin Yi didn't expect was that right Coiling Tiger actually regarded the thing in his hands as a treasure, and was ready to exchange it with benefits or buy it with money. If Lin Yi knew about it, he might not know whether to laugh or cry at his own lucky hit. On the way back to the dorm, Lin Yi bought a boxed lunch from the cafeteria. It was already past the meal time, but the boxed lunch was still sold until the evening. Back in the dorm, Bai Weitua saw Lin Yi and said, "Brother Lin, my grandpa is looking for you." "It's nothing, he gave me some information. Do you want to take a look?" Lin Yi said as he waved the thing in his hand. "No, I can't play with those things." It seemed that Bai Weitua already knew what Lin Yi was holding in his hand. It seemed like he didn't know at all. It was a completely different concept from right Coiling Tiger. "How is Zhang Duopan? He didn't give you any trouble, right?" asked Lin Yi. "Not really, but last night was really bad. The meal didn't cost much, but in the end he bought a cup. He was screwed to death." Bai Weitua thought it was funny when he mentioned what happened last night. The funniest thing is, in front of Himeiwe, this kid was acting like a big shot. He was beaten until his teeth fell into his stomach. Lin Yi smiled as he opened the lunchbox and quickly ate. Zhang Duopan really didn't have the mood to find trouble with Bai Weitua. He had enough troubles on his own side. After trying for a long time, he still didn't have enough money for Qing Yi's appearance fee. Zhang Duopan had no choice but to call his father Zhang Fengfeng. "Oh, son, how was it? Was the performance successful? Did you successfully capture your little girlfriend's heart? Did you take her to a hotel room yesterday? She's pregnant, you must tell me. Your grandpa is waiting for you to carry on the family line." Zhang Fengfeng was a person with a strong concept of carrying on the family line. He believed that there were 3 ways to be unfilial. His father was looking forward to having a great-grandchild. So Zhang Fengfeng waited for Zhang Duopan to go to university before he started thinking about it. Otherwise, he wouldn't have helped his son and invited a celebrity just to chase a girl. "Don't mention it, Dad. She invited Su Shirhan yesterday. I lost." Zhang Duopan smiled bitterly. "My plan to chase a girl is going to be put on hold." "What? Then don't you have to give up on that, Meiyue? Motherfucker, what the hell are you doing? Your grandpa is waiting for you to have a great-grandchild. You don't even have a girlfriend. How am I going to explain this to him?" Zhang Fengfeng said angrily. "Why the fuck did you make a bet? Is it good now?" No, your son actually relied on his intelligence to successfully turn the situation around. The bet is actually invalid." Zhang Duopan heard his father say this, but in his heart he secretly thought that this was a good opportunity. If he used it well, then the money would come, so he quickly told Zhang Fengfeng how he turned the situation around yesterday. "Not bad. You're good. Now we're even. What do you plan to do next?" Zhang Fengfeng nodded in satisfaction. "Dad, I'm treating them. I spent quite a lot of money. Who knew that the hotel would scam people? They charged 5,000 yuan for a cup. I swiped my card, but I didn't even have the money to pay Qing Yi." Zhang Duopan said carefully. "Oh, I've settled the money for Qing Yi. You don't have to worry about it. You did the right thing by treating them. Otherwise, you wouldn't have the chance to turn the situation around." Zhang Fengfeng didn't blame Zhang Duopan, but your opponent is very cunning. You have to be careful. "Don't worry, Dad. I plan to invite them to the Tiger Park this weekend. I'll take the chance to get closer to Himeiwe. It's the Tiger Park that Uncle Su opened in Donghai." Zhang Duopan said, "Fan Ganha and I will think of a way to embarrass Bai Weitua. Himeiwe will look down on him." Target equals under the lake. Chapter 2018. "Oh, okay, I'll give your Uncle Su a call and tell him to get someone to work with you, but the entrance fee can't be waived. You should spend the money yourself. Old Su and someone else invested in the Tiger Park. He can't just give it to you for free." Zhang Fengfeng said. "It's fine, just work with me. Thanks, Dad. Zhang Duopan was overjoyed. Not only did this call solve all of his problems, but the trip to the Tiger Park was even more assured now. That's not the main thing. You need to get me a girlfriend and continue the family line. That's the most important thing, got it? Zhang Fengfeng said. Got it, don't worry Dad, I'll get it done. Zhang Duopan said with a smile. Everything was done and Zhang Duopan's face was full of smiles. He'd walked out of the shadow of yesterday's scam. In the afternoon, Lin Yi and Bai Weituo went to the biology building together. He saw Yu Coiling Tiger looking at him expectantly as he walked in. Lin Yi smiled and waved the documents in his hand. He grinned at Yu Coiling Tiger before ignoring him and sitting down next to Wang Xinyan. Fuck, what are you so cocky about? You think you're so great just because you got Boss Bai's teachings? Yu Coiling Tiger cursed, a little pissed off. Just wait until I get home and find a good treasure, you'll trade with me. Yeah, Master Yuke, that Lin Yi kid hasn't seen much of the world, where a hidden house of House Yu, any good treasure is enough to make him drool over it, he'll trade. The yellow hair nodded. Yeah, 2 or 3 more days won't matter. The purple hair said. Lin Yi sat down and Wang Xinyan looked up at Lin Yi. Lin Yi, I heard from Mei Wei that she wants to invite us to the Tiger Park this weekend. Are you free? If not, I'll just reject it. I'm not going either. Why not? It's tiring to go to class every day. It's good to relax on the weekend. Lin Yi smiled. Or do you not want to go with me? I'm not. I'm just worried that Meng Yao and Yushu won't like us going out together. It'll cause you trouble. Xinyan blushed. Then why don't they go together? Lin Yi said. Together. Xinyan didn't know why, but she felt a little disappointed all of a sudden. Alright, I'll talk to Mei Wei tonight and have her tell Zhang Duopan. But you talked to Bai Weituo. Mei Wei said she's worried that Zhang Duopan might try something. Why didn't she say it herself? Lin Yi asked with a smile. Mei Wei. She's not sure if she can be with Bai Weituo, and she's high school friends with Zhang Duopan. Wouldn't she be betraying her old classmate if Zhang Duopan found out about it? Xinyan shook her head. Lin Yi frowned. Mei Wei was really indecisive, but this was Bai Weituo's business. He couldn't say much, so he said, okay, I'll tell him. Xinyan nodded before turning back to her book. Xinyan didn't know if she was playing with fire. Ever since the military training, her relationship with Lin Yi had gotten a lot closer. She didn't know what other people would think if they kept this up, but she knew that she was starting to rely on Lin Yi a little. Every time she went to class and waited for him to sit beside her, she would feel at ease. They didn't talk much, but Xinyan felt that it was a kind of tacit understanding. But Xinyan's heart sank every time she thought about her engagement. She felt a little uneasy. Xinyan thought that Lin Yi was very strong, but House Kong wasn't the same as before. She heard that House Kong had found a powerful backer, or else family Shao wouldn't be so eager to get married to House Kong, even with the hidden House Pai's support. Man. Xinyan sighed as she looked back at her textbook. She'd put these headaches aside for now. She'd be happy every day, and at least she was happy and at ease right now. She enjoyed sitting at the same table with Lin Yi, having class together. Lin Yi stopped by Weituo after class, telling him about Zhang Duopan's plan and Mei Yue's message. Mei Wei really told it to tell me? Bai Weituo was very excited after hearing Lin Yi's words. Yes. Lin Yi was speechless. Why was Mei Yue so happy that she didn't tell Bai Weituo herself? Haha, that's great, I still have a slight advantage over Zhang Duopan. Bai Weituo smiled. Lin Yi paused, realizing why Bai Weituo was so happy. He was thinking too much. Mei Yue was different from his girlfriends. Xiao Xiao was the one who took the initiative to chase him, and it was a very purposeful kind. He didn't have any competitors at all, and Xiao Xiao didn't have any feelings for other guys either. That was why he was so critical of Mei Yue's actions. But when he thought about it, Mei Yue and Zhang Duopan were really old classmates, and Bai Weituo joined later. From this point alone, Mei Yue was already very good to Bai Weituo. After school today, Lin Yi didn't let Han Jingjing wait for nothing. He called her to the parking lot, and Han Jingjing was very happy that Lin Yi thought of her. Brother Lin Yi, you finally remembered Jingjing. That's great. Han Jingjing didn't hold the tablet to write or draw, but she talked to Lin Yi. Yesterday's incident. I'm really sorry. Lin Yi smiled bitterly. If it weren't for yesterday's incident, Lin Yi wouldn't pay so much attention to it. It's nothing. I've caught a cold. Han Jingjing sneezed. It wasn't obvious in the morning, but she didn't expect it to get worse and worse after school. You caught a cold? Lin Yi saw Han Jingjing's situation and immediately frowned. He said, take some medicine when you go back. Oh, how about this? I'll go over and help you treat it. I have something important to tell you tonight. Han Jingjing nodded. Brother Lin Yi, what important matter do you have for Jingjing? You'll know when you go back, said Lin Yi. Oh. Han Jingjing nodded. The two went to the parking lot and Lin Yi opened the door and got in with Han Jingjing. They waited quietly for Meng Yao Yushu and Han Xiaoqiao. Chapter 2019. Chapter 2032. Flu treating colds was different from high school. The teacher wouldn't drag the class on, and the class would usually end when it was time. And so, very quickly Meng Yao Yushu and Han Jingjing came over. After they got in the car, Lin Yi started the car and headed straight to the college Shang district. The group had a tacit understanding already, so they didn't need to say anything. Back home, Grandma Sun was cooking dinner. Lin Yi said to Meng Yao, Yao, I'm going to Han Jingjing's for a bit. I have some things to discuss with her. You guys eat first, no need to wait for me. You're going to Han Jingjing's? Meng Yao paused. Lin Yi didn't seem to be interested in Han Jingjing at all. He'd only brought them some food last night and he'd come back immediately after that. They hadn't even talked much, so why was he going over to Han Jingjing's place today? Yeah, Han Jingjing wants to learn pill making, so I'm going to discuss it with her. Lin Yi smiled bitterly. You guys know about the 2-year promise I made with Bing Tang, but I haven't made any progress in my pill making skills. Han Jingjing likes pill making, so it'd be great if she could do it. The miss realized why Lin Yi would go to Han Jingjing on his own accord. This Han Jingjing didn't have a brain and Lin Yi didn't really like her. Without a reason, Lin Yi wouldn't go visit her. Naturally, the miss wouldn't stop Xiao. She nodded. Go, don't worry about us. If it's too late, Shu and I will rest first, okay? Lin Yi nodded and left the villa with the needles. He went to Han Jingjing's villa next door and pressed the doorbell. It hadn't even been a second since Lin Yi pressed the doorbell and the door opened. Han Jingjing was standing there as if she was waiting for Lin Yi, scaring Lin Yi. Why did you open the door so quickly? Lin Yi was a little surprised by Han Jingjing's speed. I've been waiting for you at the door. Han Jingjing said, you pressed the doorbell so I opened the door. You've been waiting for me here since you got home? The corner of Lin Yi's mouth twitched. He felt that Han Jingjing's actions couldn't be understood with common sense. Yeah. Han Jingjing nodded and said, I'm afraid that I'll be busy later and won't hear the doorbell. You'll be silly waiting for me at the door. It doesn't feel good to wait for someone. Jingjing felt terrible yesterday, so I don't want Big Brother Lin Yi to wait too. Thank you. Jingjing, you're the best. Lin Yi sighed. It had to be said that although Han Jingjing's thinking was a bit weird, Lin Yi was still very touched at the moment. He also felt sorry for leaving Han Jingjing in the parking lot yesterday. And Jingjing is the best. Han Jingjing nodded in agreement. Because Big Brother Lin Yi is good to Jingjing, Jingjing is also good to Big Brother Lin Yi. Yesterday, Lin Yi was even more apologetic. Yesterday Jingjing knew that Big Brother Lin Yi didn't mean it, so Jingjing didn't mind, said Han Jingjing. Well, let's cure your cold first. Lin Yi said, then I have something important to tell you. Where's Han Xiaoqiao? He's reading upstairs. Do you have something to talk to him about? Asked Han Jingjing. It's nothing. Lin Yi shook his head. Did he not catch a cold? No, he seems to be fine, said Han Jingjing. Good. Lin Yi said, you sit on the sofa. I'll help you with acupuncture. Can acupuncture cure a cold? Han Jingjing was a little confused. Don't I need to take medicine? No, acupuncture will do. Lin Yi said, others may not be able to do it, but I can. That's good. Han Jingjing nodded obediently and sat on the sofa, but she still asked with some worry, Big Brother Lin Yi, does acupuncture hurt? It doesn't hurt. As Lin Yi said this, he took out the silver needle and sterilized it with his true energy. He seemed to insert it into Han Jingjing's body casually. In fact, Lin Yi's accuracy couldn't be higher. They don't move. It will be fine in a while. After Lin Yi inserted the needle, he pinched the end of the silver needle and infused a little true energy. It's so hot. Han Jingjing's beautiful forehead was covered in a thin layer of sweat, and her body was also drenched. I think I've gotten some good water. Poof. Lin Yi's hand that was pinching the silver needle shook slightly. A lot of water? Han Jingjing's words were really ambiguous. If it weren't for Han Jingjing's big watery eyes that were full of innocence, Lin Yi would really think that Han Jingjing was on him. However, after Lin Yi heard this, he still had a little reaction. He coughed awkwardly and quickly sat on the sofa on the side. He said, "Okay, wait for a while." Hey. Han Jingjing didn't seem to notice the physiological changes in Lin Yi's body. She trusted Lin Yi and nodded. After a while, Lin Yi calmed his heartbeat and put away the silver needle. He didn't expect a girl like Han Jingjing to be very lethal sometimes. Is she very cute now? Hey, you go take a bath. Wash off the sweat on your body. Lin Yi said, "I will wait for you here." Are you going to take a bath now? Han Jingjing was slightly stunned. Then you wait for me here. I'm really sorry. Do you want to watch TV? And what are you eating tonight? Lin Yi asked. Instant noodles or takeout. Han Jingjing said, "What's wrong?" Nothing. You take a bath first. I'll go back and take a look. I'll get some food from home. Let's eat together. Lin Yi said. That's fine. Thank you, Lin Yi bro. Han Jingjing said. Lin Yi nodded and left Han Jingjing's villa. He returned to his own villa. Miss and Shu had already finished eating. They were watching TV in the living room. When she saw Lin Yi coming back, Mengyao asked, "Lin Yi, did you talk about the things over there? I left some food for you. It's in the kitchen. It shouldn't be cold yet. You can heat it up and eat it." I haven't talked about it yet. Han Jingjing caught a cold. I just cured her. Lin Yi said. Now that Han Jingjing went to take a bath, I came back to get some food to eat with her. Shield bro, did you touch Han Jingjing as well? Just like that day with Wang Xinyan? Yushu suddenly asked. Sweat. Lin Yi waved the silver needle in his hand and said, "This time I have silver needles. I don't need to take off my clothes or touch her." Oh, so you touched Wang Xinyan on purpose last time? Yushu asked. I didn't bring my silver needles last time. Lin Yi said. Chapter 2020. Date, November 1st and BE, but you can go back to the room to get it. Yushu said. 1*1*, my needles were contaminated last time, so I can't use them anymore, Lin Yi said. Then you can buy a new one. Yushu said. Alright Shu, if you want Lin Yi to touch you just say it, no need to find so many excuses. Mengyao interrupted Yushu. Yao Yao, you're the king of truth, Yushu said shocked. You're even better than truth, Shu. I've lived with you for so long, how could I not know what you're thinking? Mengyao curled her lips. But you're only good at talking, why don't you go push me down if you can? Shield bro doesn't like tough Shu. Yushu said. Lin Yi didn't expect the miss to say something like that and he sweated. It seemed like Yao Yao, him and Shu were really familiar with each other. The miss was treating him more and more like a part of the family, not hiding anything in front of him. You guys talk, I'll bring the dishes over. Lin Yi shook his head, admiring Mengyao for being able to see through Shu with one look. Even Lin Yi felt like he couldn't see through Yushu. Although Yushu said that she liked him, Lin Yi felt that there was something hidden under Yushu's straightforward personality, different from Xiao Xiao's straightforwardness. Perhaps if he and Xiao Xiao stayed together for a long time, something beyond friendship would happen naturally, but with Shu, Lin Yi felt that it wouldn't happen. Even Lin Yi himself didn't know why. Maybe it was because the two of them had been living together for so long, and there really wasn't anything going on. Or maybe it was because of him and Yushu. Although there were small flirtatious moments, there hadn't been a single real flirtatious moment. But there was one thing he was sure of. Yushu seemed to have feelings for him, but it was a strange feeling. It seemed right in front of his eyes, yet far away at the same time. Lin Yi couldn't figure out little Shu's thoughts. This girl was sometimes smart and sometimes silly, but to say that she was silly, actually it wasn't that silly. In short, some things were very strange. Lin Yi brought the food to Han Jingjing's villa. The food in Lin Yi's hands was enough for 3 people. Just now when Lin Yi left, he didn't lock the door. However, the door was unlocked, so there was no need to press the doorbell this time. After placing the dishes on the dining table, Lin Yi quietly waited for Han Jingjing to finish showering and come down. Han Jingjing probably just took a shower and didn't spend too much time. Obviously, she didn't want to keep Lin Yi waiting for too long. They didn't bathe for too long. Otherwise, Lin Yi knew how long girls took to bathe. Miss and Shu took a long time to bathe. Big brother Lin Yi. I made you wait for a long time. Han Jingjing changed into a set of pajamas. The loose nightgown revealed her body and Lin Yi didn't dare to continue looking. This Han Jingjing's body seemed to be quite good. If Lin Yi didn't know Han Jingjing's personality, he would think that Han Jingjing was deliberately seducing him. She had been seducing him ever since she came out of the water. But Lin Yi knew that Han Jingjing's personality was silly. She probably didn't have such thoughts, so Lin Yi could only think that she was familiar with him and didn't guard against him. No, I just came back. Lin Yi said, ask Han Xiaoqiao to come down and have a meal with us? Wow, so much food. Big brother Lin Yi, you're so amazing. You came back and made so much food. Han Jingjing was overjoyed when she saw the food on the table. Yesterday's food was so delicious. Xiaoqiao and I didn't eat enough. I didn't expect to eat again today. It's much better than the takeout from those restaurants. Oh. Lin Yi didn't explain that he didn't cook today's food, but Grandma Sun's cooking was quite good. Han Jingjing picked up the phone next to the stairs and dialed the intercom in Han Xiaoqiao's room. She asked Han Xiaoqiao to come and eat. Then she ran to Lin Yi's side and sat down. The fragrance of shower gel made Lin Yi feel refreshed. Han Xiaoqiao was obviously the nerd type. He was even more nerdy than Han Jingjing. When he went downstairs, he was still holding a textbook. He walked to the table and put the textbook down. He looked at the food on the table and was a little surprised. Sister, it's so sumptuous. I haven't eaten such a sumptuous meal in a long time. Big brother Lin Yi brought it. Han Jingjing said. Thank you, big brother Lin Yi. Han Xiaoqiao said shyly. Hey, hurry up and eat. Lin Yi said. Han Jingjing and Han Xiaoqiao buried their heads to eat, but Han Jingjing ate 2 mouthfuls and wondered, today's food doesn't seem to be cooked by big brother Lin Yi? It's not the same as yesterday's, but it's still delicious. You can tell? Lin Yi was a little surprised. He didn't expect Han Jingjing to be so powerful. She could immediately tell that today's food wasn't made by him. Han Jingjing nodded. Feels like the heat is different. Today's food was made by my housekeeper, Grandma Sun, but Grandma Sun's cooking is also very good, Lin Yi said. Han Jingjing didn't say anything and lowered her head to eat. Han Jingjing's appetite wasn't big, so she was full soon. Han Xiaoqiao could eat a lot and ate 3 bowls of rice. However, after eating, Han Xiaoqiao took the textbook upstairs and didn't care about Lin Yi and Han Jingjing. Han Jingjing was about to clean up the dishes, but she was stopped by Lin Yi. Han Jingjing, wait a minute. Don't clean up yet. Wait until I finish talking to you. Alright, Lin Yi bro. Han Jingjing nodded and stopped in her tracks. Lin Yi sat on the sofa and Han Jingjing followed. Han Jingjing, haven't you always wanted to learn alchemy? I have a copy of the information here, but after I give it to you, don't tell anyone, especially not to you, Panhu. Lin Yi said that although Boss Bai said that this thing was a street stall, Lin Yi didn't want to show it to others. Han Jingjing nodded quickly with a happy face. Don't worry, big brother Lin Yi. Jingjing will never show it to others. I won't show it even if I die. It's like protecting my body from other men. Ugh, that's a bit too much. Lin Yi was stunned. Protecting my body from other men? Then am I considered something else? Lin Yi shook his head. What's going on with this Han Jingjing? Seducing me again and again? To say that she's stupid, it doesn't seem that she's too stupid. It's just that her thinking logic is not the same as normal people. But to say that she's not stupid, why is she like a child? To be continued. You star. Chapter 2021. Han Jingjing's stupidity was completely different from Yushu's stupidity. It's not serious, Jingjing will treasure it. Han Jingjing nodded. Alright, up to you. This is an auxiliary mental cultivation method for alchemists. And this is the mental cultivation method for alchemists to condense Dan fire. You can try to cultivate these two. First, cultivate the auxiliary mental cultivation method, then try to condense Dan fire. Lin Yi gave the information Boss Bai gave him to Han Jingjing. Scan it and put it in your tablet, it's too eye-catching. I got this from someone else. Before Han Jingjing achieved anything, Lin Yi didn't want people to know too much. Alright, Jingjing will scan it in a bit. Han Jingjing nodded. Alright, Han Jingjing, study it yourself, I'll go back first, Lin Yi said. Lin Yi bro, just call me Jingjing from now on, that's my nickname, everyone at home calls me that. Han Jingjing said, Calling me Han Jingjing sounds too distant. Alright, I'll call you Jingjing then. Linny didn't reject it and left with a nod. When he got home, the Miss and Shu hadn't rested yet. Linny didn't actually waste much time, he just ate with Han Jingjing and Xiao Chao and gave the things Boss Bai gave him to Han Jingjing, giving her some instructions. Linny, how was it? Does Han Jingjing know how to concoct pills? Meng Yao saw Linny come back and quickly asked. In her heart she was even more worried than Lin Yi. Tang Yun was already gone, and even if she didn't want to, Xiao Xiao wouldn't be able to come back. It's not that fast, Lin Yi smiled bitterly. Concocting pills isn't that easy, you'll have to wait for a while to see. I see, I was too impatient. Meng Yao smiled embarrassedly and looked at Shu. Yao Yao, why are you looking at me like that? Yushu didn't know what was going on. Is there something on my face? Pfft. Meng Yao couldn't take it anymore. Didn't you have something to say to your shield bro? Me? Something? Yushu blinked. Well, why not? Have you forgotten? Ahem. Meng Yao's eyes widened. Well, Sister Yao Yao. What are you talking about? Yushu looked at Meng Yao confused. That's it. Meng Yao said as she reached her hand into Yushu's clothes and pulled. All? Yao Yao. Yushu shrieked before coming to a sudden realization. Yao Yao was talking about underwear. Alright, shield bro. Where are my and Sister Yao Yao's underwear? Meng Yao didn't know what to say. She was too embarrassed to ask. If you keep asking, I might as well ask myself. What the hell is going on? Underwear, I would have forgotten about it if you didn't mention it. Linny just remembered that he put the underwear in the trunk of the car, but Han Jingjing and Han Xiaochao were in the car and then Su Shirhan came. Linny was too embarrassed to take the underwear out in front of Shirhan, so he forgot about it after a long time. He patted his head and said apologetically, I'll get it for you now. With that, Lin Yi turned around and left the villa. He went to the car to get the underwear box and put it on the coffee table in the living room. Shield bro, when you helped us pack the underwear, did you see anything special? Did you see anything special? Yushu asked. Ha. Meng Yao almost had the urge to strangle Yushu. Lin Yi put the underwear box on the coffee table and didn't say anything. He was about to go back to his room when you reminded him. Thing. Lin Yi paused. He turned around and opened the underwear box in front of Meng Yao and Yushu. He took out the electric stick and asked, Are you talking about this? Yeah. Yushu realized that she'd done something stupid as well. She could only admit it when she saw Meng Yao's murderous glare. I'm the one who bought it. It has nothing to do with Yao Yao. Meng Yao rolled her eyes at Yushu's words. Were you trying to hide something from her with those words? Nothing to do with Yao Yao. It has nothing to do with me in the first place, okay? But you're saying it like you're taking the blame for me? You bought it in the first place. Meng Yao said angrily. I didn't say it was Yao Yao who bought it, I said I bought it myself. Yushu said innocently. Why you? Meng Yao's eyes were wide open as her chest heaved up and down. She snatched the electric stick from Lin Yi's hands. I really should have thrown it away back then. But, Yao Yao, you said that it's not good to just throw it around. Yushu said weakly. And if I get a boyfriend in the future, I can prepare for it. Prepare my ass. Meng Yao's face was red. She wanted to dig a hole in the ground and hide in it. She threw the stick on the coffee table and said to Lin Yi, It's for you. For me. Lin Yi pointed at himself, stunned. What would he need this thing for? But looking at the misembarrassed face, Lin Yi smiled bitterly as he picked it up. Alright, I'll take it then. I heard that Zhang Naipeo practices some chrysanthemum arts or something. I'll give it to him later. Lin Yi had a rough idea of what was going on. Yushu must have bought this thing and Meng Yao was innocent in all of this. It was just that Meng Yao was afraid of being misunderstood, so Lin Yi took the stick and successfully shifted the blame onto Zhang Naipeo. Give it to Zhang Naipeo? Yushu blinked and burst out laughing. That chrysanthemum art of his, that's not what it means, is it? That's an ancient practitioner's art. The chrysanthemum doesn't mean that in the ancient times, right? Shu, can't you calm down? What do you mean by this or that? Why are your thoughts so complicated? Meng Yao was already embarrassed enough and Shu was still going on and on. How do you know that I'm complicated, Yao Yao? Then Yao Yao's thoughts are complicated as well. Yushu said. What's there to be complicated about? Lin Yi giving it to Zhang Naipeo means that he's mocking Zhang Naipeo for being useless, and giving it to Naipeo to give to his girlfriend, that's looking down on him. Do you understand? Your thoughts are too evil. Meng Yao explained. What the fuck, Yao Yao, your thoughts really are complicated. I can't even think of such a deep meaning. Yu said, surprised. Chapter 2022. Meng Yao paused, realizing that her explanation was getting more and more complicated in the heat of the moment. Isn't this just an electric stick? Lin Yi looked at the two innocently. I actually wanted Zhang Naipeo to use it when we got home. But it's the right thing to do for his girlfriend. Alright, I'm going back to practicing. You two rest early. Meng Yao and Yushu looked at Lin Yi's back, speechless. Did Lin Yi really not know? It seemed like he didn't want the atmosphere to get any more awkward. In actuality, Lin Yi didn't even think that the Miss and Shu would use something so overbearing. Yushu probably bought it out of curiosity or to frame someone else. But no matter what, Meng Yao finally let out a sigh of relief. She turned back to Yushu. You did a good job. Did I do a good job? Yushu blinked her eyes. Of course you did a good job. I'll teach you a lesson tonight. Meng Yao glared at her. Lin Yi went back to his room and threw the electric stick on the shelf. He then started practicing with the refinement fire practitioner's arts that Boss Bai gave him. When Lin Yi gave the information to Han Jingjing, he had already memorized the incantation for condensing the refinement fire, so she could practice according to the incantation now. But half an hour later Lin Yi gave up decisively. Before, according to the refinement fire practitioner's arts that Zhang Liju gave to Lin Yi could still condense a refinement fire, but according to Boss Bai's arts, Lin Yi couldn't even condense a spark, let alone a refinement fire. There was no trend at all, and this made Lin Yi speechless. Was his talent that bad? It was so bad that it made one's hair stand on end. Or was it that this practitioner's arts didn't suit him? Right. It had to be. Lin Yi comforted himself. He put aside the matter of condensing the alchemic fire. Lin Yi could only pin his hopes on Han Jingjing. He hoped that this little girl could bring him some unexpected surprises. All Lin Yi could do now was to cultivate the second level of the art of dragon mastery and increase his strength as soon as possible. Sometimes having absolute strength was also a trump card. Time always slipped away unknowingly. A few days passed in the blink of an eye, and it was another weekend. In the past few days, other than going to school with Miss Shu, Han Jingjing and Han Xiaochao, Lin Yi didn't do anything special. It was a peaceful and leisurely university life. Han Jingjing was still studying her tablet every day, but she was no longer writing or drawing. Instead, she would look at it for a while and then close her eyes to meditate for a while. But Lin Yi knew that she wasn't deep in thought, but she was cultivating a supporting mental cultivation method. What surprised Lin Yi was, beside Han Jingjing, there was actually a faint fluctuation of heaven and earth aura. She had stepped onto the path of cultivation. It was the sign of becoming a cultivator. There were many people who were stuck at the entrance of a book, but Han Jingjing had actually made some progress in just a few days' time. Although being able to cultivate a supporting mental cultivation method, it didn't mean that she could successfully condense the alchemic fire. Even if she successfully condensed the alchemic fire, she might be like Lin Yi, unable to control the intensity and temperature of the fire. Therefore, Han Jingjing could only be considered a beginner among beginners. Moreover, the supporting mental cultivation method of alchemists was the simplest cultivation method. It was simpler than any other mental cultivation method, and it was only used to assist in condensing the alchemic fire. But even so, Han Jingjing could master the supporting mental cultivation method in such a short time, which was really a genius among geniuses. However, the fluctuation of the heaven and earth aura was extremely weak, so only Lin Yi could feel it if he was very close, but Boss Bai couldn't feel it on the podium. This was the beginning of cultivating the true Tao. This situation surprised and delighted Lin Yi. Could it be that Han Jingjing was really a genius? Early in the morning, Lin Yi drove Meng Yao and Yushu to school in his Jeep Cherokee. Today was the weekend, so there was no class, so Lin Yi didn't bring Han Jingjing. Today's main activity was to go to the Tiger Park. He parked the car in the parking lot and Lin Yi quietly waited for the others. Not long after, Bai Weituo, Zhao Xingji, Song Xiaodao, Zhang Duopan, and Fan Ganhe walked over from the direction of the male dorm. Bro Lin, so early? Sorry to keep you waiting. Bai Weituo greeted Lin Yi. We just arrived too. Lin Yi said, where are he, Meiyue and the others? They're in the dorm room, they'll be out soon. Bai Weitua said as he looked carefully at Lin Yi's car. As expected, he saw Meng Yao and Yushu in the car. He was smart enough not to mention Wang Xinyan again. You guys can take Lin Yi's car later. Mei Wei and the others can take mine. Zhang Duopan said, you three men squeezing in the back of my car is a bit cramped. Lin Yi's car is a 7-seater, it's no problem. Lin Yi's car has some water in the backseat, so it can't fit 3 people. Mei Yue and I will take a taxi later, and Xinyan and Xiaoling can take Lin Yi's car. Zhao Xingji and Song Xiaodao can take your car. Bai Weitua said, what? You and Mei Yue will take a taxi? We have a car here, why would we take a taxi? Zhang Duopan immediately objected after hearing Bai Weitua's words. Besides, you guys should be the ones taking the taxi, how can you let the girls take it? There's no need to take a taxi. Xinyan has her own car. You 3 can take Zhang Duopan's car later. Xinyan and the others can drive themselves. Lin Yi said as he looked at the red sports car not far away. Drive themselves? Zhang Duopan paused as he looked at Lin Yi, confused. What car do they drive? Or do they have a car? At this time Xinyan, Xiaoling and He Meiwei came as well. They heard the conversation between Lin Yi and Zhang Duopan. Xinyan didn't want to drive herself. She wasn't someone who liked to show off, but since Lin Yi said so, she had no choice but to take out her keys and press the remote. Not far away, the red Porsche's headlights flashed twice. Zhang Duopan's eyes widened as if he had seen a monster. Fan Ganha, on the other hand, was in disbelief. Xinyan had a car and it was a Porsche too? How rich did her family have to be able to afford a sports car? Zhang Duopan could afford one, but Zhang Fengfeng didn't spoil him when he was in high school. It was only when he had an excuse to hit on girls that he had some money. Chapter 2023. So Zhang Duopan was wondering if he should get a new car? If it was a more powerful BMW X5M or X6, or even a Porsche Cayenne, it would be able to show off his rich young master's class. But today he saw Xinyan driving a Porsche sports car. And so he was shocked. Xinyan, is this your car? Even He Meiyue and Chai Xiaoling were shocked as they looked at Xinyan in disbelief. It's just that I don't drive it that often. Xinyan smiled bitterly. Well done, Xinyan, it seems like only Lin Yi knows the truth, the rest of us are in the dark. He Meiyue teased. It's obvious who's close and who's distant. But I just don't want to show off, and Lin Yi already knows that I have a car. Xinyan blushed as she explained. Alright, you guys are old friends, okay? Ling and I will be riding in your car later, a Porsche sports car. I've never ridden in a sports car before. He Meiyue said excitedly. Seeing that Xinyan really had a car, Zhang Duopan didn't say anything else. He Meiyue had already said that she wanted a sports car, he couldn't just make one out of thin air, could he? Since Xinyan has a car, then let's go, shall we? Let's go early or else it'll be hard to drive with too many cars. Zhang Duopan laughed. The group of 3 cars, under the lead of Zhang Duopan's Land Rover Aurora, headed towards the Tiger Park. The Tiger Park's full name was the African Lion and Tiger Park. It was one of the largest and most famous tourist attractions near the East China Sea, also known as the Natural Forest Zoo. It covered a large area, about 200,000 square meters. With the primeval forest near the East China Sea as the foundation, there were many man-made landscapes and buildings, forming a unique natural attraction that was a combination of modern and primitive elements. Naturally, it attracted many tourists from all over the country. Currently, in the Lion and Tiger Park there were African tigers, African lions, Siberian tigers and many other ferocious beasts. Visitors could take special sightseeing vehicles, cable cars and helicopters to see these beasts up close. They could also feed them themselves and experience the interaction and communication between humans and ferocious beasts. After parking the car at the entrance of the Tiger Park, Zhang Duopan took out the tickets that he had bought in advance. The ticket price was naturally not cheap. It cost 200 yuan, but it was a piece of cake for Zhang Duopan. This place is so big and grand, Meng Yao said as she looked at the Lion and Tiger Garden. Zhang Wen said that he wanted to open a zoo like this in Songshan. I wonder if there's any news about it? Yeah, he still owes me a lion. I haven't seen this guy in a long time. He's not paying up. Yushu said unhappily. Lin Yi's already extorted so much money from him, A lion wouldn't make much of a difference, right? Meng Yao was speechless. Shu still remembered the lion's money. Bai Weituo was so angry that he couldn't help but mock them. In fact, with Boss Bai's connections, it was easy to arrange something like this. Even if Boss Bai couldn't make elixirs now, he could just sell a recipe and guide some alchemists to make elixirs, which would bring him a lot of money. However, after Boss Bai was injured, he didn't do this. He had been very low-key and hid in the university as a lecturer. This was also what Bai Weituo felt the most aggrieved about. He obviously had the ability, but he didn't make more money. He and his brother were despised for flirting with girls. That's right. I don't know if young Master Zhang has this courage? Chai Shaoling immediately echoed after listening. Chapter 2024. She and Zhao Xingji had basically settled down, so she naturally supported Bai Weituo and He Meiwei being together. She didn't mind giving Zhang Duopan a blow. Net. It's not that I don't dare. These tigers, don't be fooled by their ferocious appearance. Many of them haven't eaten for days, they're just weaklings. Fan Ganha and I kicked a tiger until it fainted in my family's tiger park. Zhang Duopan bragged, but this is my father's friend's tiger park. You can't be so presumptuous. Naturally, no one believed Zhang Duopan's words. This was a bit too ridiculous. Knocked out a tiger with a few kicks? Did he think he was Wu Song? However, Lin Yi, Meng Yao and Yushu didn't say anything. As far as they were concerned, knocking out a tiger with a few kicks wasn't enough. One kick from Lin Yi was enough to kill one. While Zhang Duopan was bragging, a long Hummer drove over and stopped beside them. The driver quickly got out of the car and ran to Zhang Duopan's side and said, "You are young Master Zhang, right? I'm arranged by Co Su to serve you the entire time. Co Su said that we'll listen to your arrangements." As he said this, he purposely emphasized his tone, as if he had received some kind of instruction. He could recognize Zhang Duopan at a glance, obviously because he saw Zhang Duopan's photo. "I'm Zhang Duopan." Zhang Duopan nodded. "Okay, thank you. How should I address you?" "Just call me Old Yen, the driver and beast tamer here." The driver said. "Then I'll call you Uncle Yen." Zhang Duopan smiled. "I'll have to trouble Uncle Yen for this trip." Sure. "Everyone get in the car? I'll bring you around the tiger park," Uncle Yen said. They got in the car, but it wasn't easy to choose a seat. It didn't matter to the others, but it was Lin Yi. He didn't know who to sit with. He Meiwei chose to sit with Shaoling. She didn't give Zhang Duopan and Bai Weituo a chance. It was obvious that she hadn't made a choice yet. Wang Xinyan, on the other hand, was one more. Lin Yi naturally didn't want Fan Ganhe to sit next to her, but Lin Yi was worried that Meng Yao and Yushu wouldn't be happy if he sat next to her. He was in a dilemma. "Bro. You stay with Shu, she'll be scared when she sees the big tiger." Yushu called out to Lin Yi. Lin Yi was a little speechless. "Would you be afraid of a tiger? You're not even scared of Go Huli's lion." Although it wasn't a bad idea to have Xinyan and Meng Yao sit together. And so Lin Yi nodded and sat beside Yushu, while Meng Yao went with the flow and sat beside Xinyan. Zhang Duopan and Fan Ganhe didn't want to do this. They wanted He Meiwei and Wang Xinyan to sit with them. That way, when they saw the tiger pouncing on the window, the girls would naturally be afraid. Shaking hands or hugging in his arms was also possible. But reality was too different from their imaginations. Zhang Duopan and Fan Ganhe had no choice but to sit together. The car started up slowly and they drove into Tiger Forest. However, this luxurious extended Hummer attracted the attention of other tourists. It was obviously a VIP car, much better than a sightseeing car. "Shu, you're scared?" "You're scared?" Lin Yi asked, amused. "Can't Shu be scared?" Actually, Shu has a lot of things that she's scared of. Yushu's face showed a hint of sadness. "Oh? Like what?" Lin Yi asked. "No, let's look at the tiger first." Yushu didn't want to talk about it. Meng Yao sat beside Xinyan, which surprised Xinyan a little. Xinyan hadn't expected to sit with him today. Meng Yao and Yushu were there after all. She'd taken the last seat of her own volition in order to avoid Fan Ganhe's glare. At least she'd be able to stay away from Fan Ganhe. What Xinyan didn't expect, however, was for Meng Yao to walk to her side and sit down as soon as she sat down. This surprised her and made her a little nervous. She didn't know what Meng Yao was planning. Xinyan had always been a quiet person. She wasn't good at talking to people, so she only nodded at Meng Yao. She didn't take the initiative to say anything. Meng Yao, on the other hand, didn't say anything after sitting down. She observed the girl beside her quietly. Without a doubt, Xinyan was a very beautiful girl. She didn't pale in comparison to Meng Yao at all. Spring flowers and autumn moon were equal. You like Lin Yi? Meng Yao asked. She checked Xinyan out as the car drove away. Meng Yao's sudden question made Xinyan's heart skip a beat. Was Meng Yao here to denounce her? Xinyan's heart almost jumped out of her chest, but she forced herself to calm down. I'm just good friends with Lin Yi. Oh? Meng Yao smiled meaningfully. It's nothing really. Just let me know if you like Lin Yi and I'll check on his girlfriend's behalf. She's given me the authority to do that. Ah. Xinyan paused. She looked at Meng Yao in disbelief. Lin Yi's girlfriend asked you to check on her? Yeah. Meng Yao smiled and nodded. His girlfriend asked him to find another girlfriend? Xinyan couldn't believe it, but that was what Meng Yao meant. Yeah. Meng Yao nodded again. Did I hear that right? Xinyan stared at Meng Yao, stunned. Oh. So, if you like Lin Yi, you have to tell me before someone else gets to him. Meng Yao said. There's only one spot. Oh. Xinyan's heart skipped a beat when Meng Yao was about to tell her, but she remembered her own situation. She shook her head with a bitter smile. I'm engaged. Lin Yi and I are really just friends. Is that so? All right then. Meng Yao shrugged. She didn't want to continue the topic. I don't have anything against you, but you know that since Lin Yi's girlfriend gave me this responsibility, I have to keep my promise. I understand. Xinyan nodded. She didn't really understand, but she found it a little unbelievable. But I can tell that Lin Yi likes you a little. Meng Yao said. Xinyan's face reddened. Chapter 2025. He's not a busybody, especially in the past. Meng Yao said. He stood up for you at Songshan's Commercial Street. It's obvious that he likes you. Furthermore, he helped you many times after that, which made him seem rather special. Then isn't he on good terms with you guys? Xinyan's breathing quickened. She didn't want to talk about this topic anymore. It would only make her sink deeper and deeper. He quickly changed the topic to Meng Yao and Yushu. Does that mean that he likes you guys too? Our situations aren't quite the same. We've always been good friends from the beginning till now. Meng Yao couldn't help but feel bitter. Good friends? Or was there a chance but he did not fight for it? But I feel that you and Shu are very important in Lin Yi's heart. It's very special, Xinyan said. It's true. He really cares about you guys. Is that so? This time it was Meng Yao's turn to blush. Xinyan couldn't help but smile at Meng Yao's blushing face. It looked like Meng Yao wasn't as calm as she used to be after all. He had her moments of shyness too. At this moment, the relationship between the two of them seemed to have become much closer and more tacit. Then, we'll be good friends from now on. Meng Yao said. But only as close friends. If you want to pursue Lin Yi, you'll have to let him know first. Yeah. Wang Xinyan smiled. He felt a lot more relaxed now. He didn't have to be so careful anymore. She's just the playful type. Don't mind her if she's targeting you. Meng Yao shrugged, a bitter smile on her face. She's even messing with me. No way. Xinyan paused. It's nothing. Meng Yao thought back to the electric stick from the other night. This Shu was such a scammer. He changed the topic. You're going to be Lin Yi's girlfriend in the future. He had been with her for a long time. In fact, you will realize that Shu is not a bad person. I'm not only engaged. And Xinyan still couldn't believe what she was hearing. Do I really want you to help Lin Yi find a girlfriend? Xiao. You know Xiao? Meng Yao was a little surprised. She didn't expect Xinyan to know Xiao. Yes, when I was in Yanjing. We had a meal together. Xinyan smiled self-mockingly. She didn't want to tell him that it was with her fiancé Xiaolong, so she paused. It's just a chance encounter, I guess. That's good. Meng Yao nodded. Actually, Xiao's Lin Yi's small wife, there's something I'll tell you in private. Since you're close to Lin Yi, there are some things that I won't hide from you, but don't spill the beans. Yes. I won't speak carelessly. Xinyan felt a little excited. Was she about to find out Lin Yi's secret? Xinyan felt that nothing would happen between her and Lin Yi, but knowing more about Lin Yi made her feel happy and satisfied. Actually, Xiao Xiao is Lin Yi's small wife. Lin Yi has a big wife, but Lin Yi has forgotten about her. Meng Yao lowered her voice as she told Xinyan the story of Lin Yi, Tang Yun and Xiao Xiao. The two sat at the back of the car so they didn't have to worry about Lin Yi overhearing them, especially since Meng Yao's voice was so soft that Xinyan had to get close to hear. At first Xinyan thought that Lin Yi had two girlfriends, and was a little disappointed that Lin Yi was a playboy. But when she heard that it was Tang Yun who allowed Xiao Xiao to join, and that it was because she pitied her, Xinyan understood that Tang Yun was so kind and Xiao Xiao was so pitiful. The trip to the Ice Palace in Snowy Valley moved Xinyan even more. She didn't think that love could be so great. What a sad story it was. Lin Yi risked his life to fight against those sky-class masters to save Xiao Xiao, and Tang Yun, in order to save Lin Yi, didn't hesitate to stay in Snowy Valley and become an inheritor. And in order to make Lin Yi not sad, she gave the forgetfulness herb to Lin Yi. What kind of sacrifice was that? Xinyan finally understood why Xiao Xiao wanted to help Lin Yi find another girlfriend, the big wife. It was to cover up this lie. Xinyan felt that it wasn't fair to Lin Yi, but this was Tang Yun's wish. If she really told Lin Yi the truth, no one would be happy. So the best thing to do was to keep hiding it. But letting Lin Yi find another girlfriend was a little too easy for him. So the spots are limited. If you really want to, you can think about it. It's better to be familiar than unfamiliar, and I think you have a good personality. You won't bully Xiao Xiao, Meng Yao said, but we'll have to see what Lin Yi wants and what he chooses. I can't do it. Xinyan shook her head. I'm just saying. I just don't want you to spill the beans, Meng Yao said. Yeah, I won't, Xinyan nodded. The car drove to the Manchurian tigers. It was full of Manchurian tigers, also known as Siberian tigers. They were found in the northeast of Asia, and were the largest felines in existence. Males could reach up to 3 meters in length with a meter-long tail. They weighed up to 350 kilograms, and there were many black stripes on their backs and sides, usually 2 of them in the shape of a willow leaf. Their heads were big and round, and there were many stripes on their foreheads. They were often connected in the middle, resembling the word king. That was why they were called the king of the jungle. Since it was the king of the jungle, naturally it was extremely ferocious. Every sightseeing car had iron bars on the windows to prevent the tourists from getting hurt when they opened the windows. This extended Hummer was no exception. Except for a small movable opening on the iron fence at the window, which could be used to throw food out to feed the tigers, the entire body of the Hummer was completely sealed. Uncle Yen, there's too many people here. There's no point in feeding the tigers here. Is there a place with fewer people? Zhang Duopan asked on purpose. Yeah, there's less people at the animal taming area. Let's go there. The tigers there are trained and they can jump high. You throw the beef into the air and they'll jump for it. It's very interesting, Uncle Yen said. Chapter 2026. Alright, let's go there. By the way, are there any restrictions? Zhang Duopan asked. This article is from the Literature Museum. Ordinary tourists are naturally not allowed to go, but you guys are different. You are President Su's friend. President Su said that everything will be arranged by you. Uncle Yen said. Thank you, President Su. Let's go. Zhang Duopan never stopped showing off his superiority. The extended Hummer started and slowly drove to the animal taming area. Sure enough, at the entrance of the iron gate, Lin Yi and the others saw a sign. It said work area. Non-staff members are not allowed to enter. However, the extended Hummer came to the iron gate. Without any questioning, the iron gate was opened by the staff and the car was allowed to pass. Obviously, this car was a VIP car. The staff members here all knew each other. This was actually a training place for the acrobatics hall in the Tiger Park. There were animal trainers taming all kinds of tigers and lions for them to perform. The Hummer stopped near a rockery. Uncle Yen said, everyone can get out of the car to feed the animals. There are animal trainers here and there are only 2 tigers. They won't cause any harm to anyone. This way everyone can watch the tigers up close. Although Uncle Yen said so, everyone looked at each other. After all, they were facing tigers. Even if they were tamed, they were still very scary. Who knew if the tiger would suddenly go crazy? If it hurt someone, it would not be fun. Get out of the car? That's not good, right? There are more girls in the car. What if something happens? Bai Weituo's heart was also beating fast. I say, Bai Weituo, are you afraid? Why are you pushing the blame to the girls? Zhang Duopan looked at Bai Weituo with disdain and said, I don't think a coward like you can protect He Meiyue at all. I won't let her get out of the car. That's protecting her. Bai Weituo's face turned red. Although he was a little afraid, he still argued. What if this tiger goes crazy? It's not a joke if it bites someone. Look, the animal trainers are standing next to the tiger. We were so close but nothing happened? Zhang Duopan curled his lips. Bai Weituo was getting more and more worried. The happier he was, the more he could despise him and let He Meiyue see how timid this man was. That's hard to say. Even humans go crazy, let alone tigers. Lin Yi said lightly, however, even if a tiger goes crazy, it will only bite arrogant and pretentious people. So Bai Weituo, it's fine. Let's go down. Look at you worrying for Zhang Duopan, but he doesn't know how to appreciate people's kindness. Fuck. Who needs you to worry? Zhang Duopan listened to Lin Yi's words. He was even more disdainful. I'm getting out of the car right now. Let's see who the coward is. Bai Weituo's expression changed slightly, but he saw that Lin Yi had already stood up. Gritting his teeth, he followed her out of the car. Yushu, on the other hand, followed Lin Yi out of the car. Since the girls got out, Bai Weituo couldn't stay in the car anymore. He said, Meiyue, let's get out too, but be careful, don't get too close. After Zhang Duopan got out of the car, he gave Uncle Yen a look. Uncle Yen nodded, indicating that everything was arranged. Zhang Duopan smiled knowingly. There's beef here, everyone can feed the tigers. Zhang Duopan said to the people who got out of the car. But for safety's sake, let's let Uncle Yen demonstrate first. As expected, the two tigers just stood next to the animal trainers. They didn't come over and they didn't seem to have any intention of attacking them. Seemed like they were really different from the free-range tigers. Actually, the tigers here are more obedient and easier to feed. Uncle Yen said as he took out a piece of beef and threw it at the tigers. Sure enough, the two tigers jumped at the same time. One of them jumped higher and grabbed the piece of meat in the air. But what was more interesting was that when the other tiger saw that the previous tiger grabbed the meat, it stopped fighting and returned to the animal trainer's side, regardless of how much the previous tiger enjoyed the meat. Tigers eat alone. If one of them grabs the meat, the other tigers are very disciplined and won't fight for it. Of course, we can't rule out the possibility of a tiger king, but there isn't one here. Uncle Yen explained, who's next? Bai Weituo, why don't you go first? Zhang Duopan laughed and said, but looking at you, you definitely don't dare, so let me do it. Bai Weituo was furious, but he couldn't do anything about it. He was indeed a little worried. It's okay, let him perform. Lin Yi patted Bai Weituo, smiled slightly and said, people make mistakes, horses stumble. If he gets bitten later, he won't be so cocky. Ha, get bitten? Aren't you too timid? Fan Ganha glanced at Lin Yi and said sarcastically, generally girls don't like cowards. Lin Yi didn't pay attention to him at all, making Fan Ganha's words useless. He was a little angry, but it was not good to be angry. He thought, in a while I will let you know what it means to be a fool and afraid. Zhang Duopan picked up a piece of beef and threw it at the two tigers. Because one tiger was eating the meat, the other one who didn't get it before grabbed it first and bit the meat in its mouth. It was quite interesting. How about it? Meiyue, why don't you try it too? After Zhang Duopan finished his performance, he said to He Meiyue proudly. He Meiyue saw that Zhang Duopan was not in any danger, so she nodded and agreed. This way of feeding the tigers personally was quite interesting, so He Meiyue was also interested. Just like me, pick up a piece of meat and throw it over. Zhang Duopan said after a simple demonstration. He Meiyue nodded, picked up a piece of meat and threw it over to the tigers. However, maybe because the girl's strength was relatively small, the meat was thrown relatively close. The two tigers rushed over with a whoosh sound. It was as if they were rushing at He Meiyue, and He Meiyue was suddenly shocked. He Meiyue suddenly screamed and dodged back in fear. In fact, this was also intentional by Zhang Duopan. The two tigers had actually been acting under the instructions of the beast tamer. The domesticated tigers were different from the free-range ones. Even if they hunted, they were controlled by the beast tamer. If the beast tamer didn't allow them to eat, they wouldn't eat. Therefore, the first 2 snatches of food seemed to be their own behavior, but in fact, it was also done under the secret instructions of the beast tamer. Lin Yi, who had dealt with wild beasts all year round, saw this clearly. Chapter 2027. Chapter 2040. The tiger went crazy. Zhang Duopan had a good plan. He deliberately let He Meiyue throw the meat, and then used the excuse that a girl's hands were weak to make the tiger pounce on her. In fact, the beast tamer let him do this on purpose. Then Zhang Duopan could take the opportunity to stand in front of He Meiyue and save the damsel in distress. Or He Meiyue would be so scared that she would jump into his arms. However, as Zhang Duopan was fantasizing, a figure suddenly stumbled in front of He Meiyue and blocked her. This figure was Bai Weituo. Of course, Bai Weituo didn't rush over by himself. He was pushed over by Lin Yi. Bai Weituo cursed brother Lin in his heart. Wasn't he pushing himself into the tiger's den? However, Lin Yi's control of strength was very accurate. Bai Weituo's legs seemed to be out of his control. He couldn't stop even if he wanted to, and he stood directly in front of He Meiyue. Since he was here, Bai Weituo couldn't retreat. He could only bite the bullet and say, "Meiyue, don't be afraid. I'm here." Zhang Duopan was about to make a move, but he didn't expect Bai Weituo to beat him to it. His face suddenly became very ugly. As for the 2 tigers, they seemed to be rushing over fiercely, but they actually had no intention of attacking He Meiyue. The beast tamer only wanted them to scare He Meiyue. This kind of situation also happened when some brave guests went on stage to cooperate with the circus. So, the beast tamer was very familiar with this situation. Even though Bai Weituo stood not far from them, they didn't have any intention of attacking. They just aimed at the meat in front of them. After one of the tigers snatched the meat, the 2 tigers retreated. It seems that Bai Weituo is the most reliable person. Some people may say nice things, but they become stupid at the critical moment and can't move. Lin Yi said with a cold smile. Damn it, I got beaten to it by you guys, okay? Zhang Duopan was speechless. Who knew Bai Weituo would be so fast? Originally, he wanted to judge whether He Meiyue wanted to jump into his arms or dodge. If she dodged, he would stand in front of He Meiyue and jump into her arms. Then he would be able to sit back and enjoy the fruits of her labor. How could he have known that things would change so quickly? In fact, no matter how fast Zhang Duopan's reaction was, he wasn't as fast as Lin Yi. Lin Yi didn't wait for Zhang Duopan to move and pushed Bai Weituo out. That's right. Although I don't like to do dangerous things, if a female companion is in danger, I will be the first to rush out. Bai Weituo was extremely grateful to Lin Yi. It seemed like Lin Yi had already seen through Zhang Duopan's plan. Meiyue, did you see that? Who is more reliable? Lin Yi couldn't do anything about He Meiyue's delay in making a decision. If you clearly know that these 2 tigers won't hurt people, so why are you showing off? Zhang Duopan snorted. He hated Bai Weituo so much in his heart. He planned to take the opportunity to teach him a lesson, so he said with a fake smile, Bai Weituo, if you are in a hurry to feed the tigers, I will say that you are in a hurry. Why are you still standing in front of He Meiyue? I didn't move because I know that these 2 tigers definitely won't hurt people. This is called being calm. Bai Weituo didn't refute. Instead, he picked up a piece of beef on the ground and said, if that's the case, what's the difficulty of feeding such domesticated tigers? Whether it's difficult or not, it's also a kind of courage training. Don't talk so much nonsense. Zhang Duopan said as he gave Uncle Yen a look. Uncle Yen nodded calmly. So, when Bai Weituo just picked up a piece of meat, the tiger on the other side didn't wait for Bai Weituo to finish shaving the beef in his hand. With a roar, it directly bit the beef in Bai Weituo's hand. Although it didn't hurt Bai Weituo, it still scared Bai Weituo enough that he sat on the ground. Lin Yi frowned. He knew that this was probably Zhang Duopan's deliberate mischief, but he didn't have any evidence. Naturally, he couldn't say anything. Bai Weituo? Can't be, right? You're actually so scared that you sat on the ground? Aren't you a little too useless? Zhang Duopan suddenly laughed. Didn't you say that there's no difficulty in feeding this kind of domesticated tiger? Why, are you so scared that you pissed your pants? The corner of Lin Yi's mouth flashed a trace of a cold smile. He pretended to want to help Bai Weituo up, but his hand suddenly flicked out a trace of true energy, aimed at one of the 2 tigers, and then emitted a strange sound wave from his mouth. But Lin Yi's acting was very good and he made it sound like he was lifting Bai Weituo up with all his might. No one thought anything was wrong at all. But there was a reason for Lin Yi to do this. He was provoking the tiger in front of him. In the past, Lin Yi was active in various kinds of primeval forests all year round. He had a set of ways to deal with these fierce beasts. Sometimes using beasts to deal with the enemy was also a means. Lin Yi first used his pure energy to injure the tiger, and then used that strange sound wave to make the tiger go berserk and bloodthirsty. This way, even a domesticated tiger would turn into a mad tiger and attack the person closest to it. Before, when Lin Yi didn't know how to use the chi bomb, he naturally used other hidden weapons to hurt the tiger. However, that was more obvious and could let people see the flaws. It didn't matter when facing the enemy in the primeval forest, but it wouldn't work here. Lin Yi wanted to harm Zhang Duopan. Naturally, he couldn't let others see it, so he directly used the chi bomb. After doing all this, Lin Yi quickly helped Bai Weituo up and then pulled him back. He stood far away from Zhang Duopan and said, "Wait, oh, forget it. This tiger is not a joke. After all, this kind of thing is a fierce beast. Even if it is domesticated, there may be a situation where it will bite people. It's not shameful for you to do this. A man should know when to yield and when to stand tall. Saving your life is the key. Like some people who don't care about their lives, they are stupid." Huh? Stupid? If you are timid, then don't say those useless things. If you are afraid of this kind of domesticated tiger, then you are really as timid as a mouse. But as soon as Zhang Duopan's voice fell, he found that one of the two tigers rushed towards him. Looking at its fierce appearance, it seemed like it wanted to swallow him. Zhang Duopan was scared out of his wits. He turned around and ran, but the tiger was chasing him. Thought that Zhang Duopan heard it. Lin Yi's sound wave had made the tiger a little crazy. It directly regarded Zhang Duopan, who was the closest to it, as an enemy. Roar. The speed of the tiger was quite fast, but one of its legs was injured by Lin Yi's chi explosion, so its mobility was seriously reduced, so it couldn't catch up with Zhang Duopan. Chapter 2028. Chapter 2041. Lion King. Lin Yi did it on purpose. Although Zhang Duopan was a bit annoying, Lin Yi didn't want to kill him directly. So this was also a lesson for him. "Uncle Yen, help. What's wrong with this tiger? Wasn't it tamed? Why did it suddenly bite me?" Only now did Zhang Duopan know fear. His back was drenched in cold sweat. He never would have thought that this tiger who had never hurt anyone would want to harm him. Could it be that the beast tamer had asked it to scare Bai Weituo, and that had aroused its ferocity? From the looks of it, this was the only explanation. Otherwise, why would this tiger suddenly change its temperament? Uncle Yen and the beast tamer were also baffled. Logically speaking, this tiger shouldn't hurt people. Why did it suddenly pounce on Zhang Duopan as if it had seen an enemy? Fortunately, Zhang Duopan ran fast. No, why did the tiger's leg seem to be injured? How did he get hurt? When did you get hurt? Could it be that the tiger was so ferocious because it was injured? Woo woo, ah woo. The beast tamer kept calling out the beast language that the tiger could understand. He wanted to stop the mad tiger, but the tiger didn't seem to listen to anything. It madly rushed toward Zhang Duopan. The miss looked at Lin Yi, deep in thought. Shu, on the other hand, clapped her hands and laughed. Ah, shield bros almost catching up to Prophet Shu. Amazing. This tiger is crazy. Some people are really retarded. Bai Weituo's hatred was also vented in his heart. He shouted mockingly, "Zhang Duopan, brother Lin is right. Even if this tiger is tamed, it can still bite people. People like you are not courageous but arrogant. You are simply too stupid." At this moment, Mei Yue was frowning and shaking her head. She sighed in her heart. This Zhang Duopan was indeed useless. How could he do such a dangerous and arrogant thing? Fortunately, the tiger didn't go crazy just now. Otherwise, it would have really hurt him. Even Bai Weituo was almost injured by the tiger. "Help!" Zhang Duopan cried out miserably. Although Fan Ganhe was anxious, he did not dare to step forward to help. He was facing a tiger and he knew that he was not Wu Song. He did not have the ability to do anything to a tiger, so he could only be anxious. Bang! A gunshot was heard. It was the beast tamer who fired the shot. He took out a tranquilizer gun from somewhere and shot it at the crazy tiger. After the gunshot, the tiger swayed twice before falling to the ground. Obviously it had fainted. Phew. The beast tamer also breathed a sigh of relief. If anything happened to Zhang Duopan, he would also have a lot of responsibility. Uncle Yen also breathed a sigh of relief. This domesticated tiger actually went crazy. It was like winning the lottery. When Zhang Duopan saw that the tiger had fallen, he finally couldn't hold on anymore. He sat on the ground and panted heavily. His head was covered in sweat. Scared me to death. Scared me to death. Zhang Duopan couldn't care less about his face. He was about to lose his life. What face did he have? Fan Ganhe quickly ran over and helped Zhang Duopan up. Uncle Yen was also very embarrassed. Young Master Zhang, no one knew that this tiger would suddenly go crazy. I know. It's not your fault. Zhang Duopan waved his hand. His face was very ugly. This time he had lost his face. He wanted to scare Bai Weitua, but in the end he was the one who was scared. Let's go and see something else. This tiger is boring. Lin Yi said faintly. I already said that this tiger goes crazy easily. You don't believe me. This is just an accident. Zhang Duopan said. Let's go see the lion. This tiger is just so. It was fierce just now, but it was finished in one shot. Although Bai Weitua and others didn't answer, they still despised Zhang Duopan. In He Meiyue's eyes, her impression of Zhang Duopan was getting worse and worse. This guy was simply an arrogant playboy. He wasn't a suitable companion at all. When everyone got in the car, Uncle Yen breathed a sigh of relief. He quickly started the car and went out of the domestication area. They went to the lion and tiger breeding area. This was a pure wild area. The lions and tigers here were wild. Even the ordinary staff didn't dare to get out of the car. Only those professionals wearing professional equipment and holding tranquilizer guns dared to get out. As for tourists, they were forbidden to feed the animals through the car window. This was enough to show the danger of this area. This is the lion and tiger breeding area. There is a lion king here. In the past, the most powerful one here was a tiger, but recently the garden bought a lion. This lion became the king here. Uncle Yen explained while driving, this lion has a very high IQ. When it came, it had a lot of underlings. The previous tiger king also became the lion's underling. This lion is quite powerful. Could it be the legendary Lion King? Zhang Duopan deliberately said in order to divert everyone's attention. You can say that. Uncle Yen nodded. If we're lucky, we'll be able to see the Lion King. Here the car was equipped with GPS, tranquilizer guns and emergency satellite phones. This was also to prevent the car from breaking down so that reinforcements could come in time. This was because this was the primeval forest breeding area. The area was very wide, unlike the previous sightseeing areas where there were many sightseeing cars. Here most tourists chose to take the cable car to see the scenery of the lion and tiger breeding area. Almost no sightseeing cars drove here. This was also for the safety of tourists. Of course, there was also a small number of adventurous tourists who would choose to come here by car. However, these tourists would buy insurance and sign an agreement before coming in. After all, this was not a joke. If the car overturned or broke down, there might really be a problem. Lions and tigers can coexist? How interesting! He Meiyue and Shaoling exclaimed. Xinyan and Miss, on the other hand, didn't say anything. The two looked out the window quietly. Xinyan had a lot on her mind, and Miss was observing Xinyan, trying to see if she could become Lin Yi's girlfriend. Yushu, on the other hand, was a heartless girl. She kept screaming along the way, especially when it came to tigers and lions. Wow, everyone's in luck. That lion in front is the Lion King, but it's very strong. We'll watch from afar to avoid danger. Uncle Yen said. Not far ahead on the highest rock is the Lion King, and around it are its underlings. Do you see the biggest tiger? That was the Tiger King before, but now it's the Lion King's underling. Target equals under the lake. Even if he was a tamer, a professional, he didn't dare get off here. When he fed the tigers and lions, he would throw the meat out through the gaps of the window. He didn't dare to be careless, and Yushu, a girl, wanted to get off. Shield bro, will you come with me? Yushu suddenly realized that something wasn't right. The lion had already been sold, and it was now the king of this place. No matter how much she messed around, she couldn't risk her life. He turned to Lin Yi. Okay. Lin Yi said faintly without a trace of fear or obstruction. Even if Lin Yi didn't know these lions and tigers, these beasts wouldn't dare hurt Lin Yi and the people he was protecting. There was no other reason. Years of fighting in the jungle had given Lin Yi a killing aura. As long as the tigers and lions weren't idiots, they wouldn't do anything when they sensed Lin Yi's aura. This was just like General Wei Wu, who chose to retreat the first time he saw Lin Yi. Go Huli, that lion, was also scared by Lin Yi. Lin Yi's reply wasn't loud, but everyone in the car heard it clearly, especially Zhang Duopan. He looked at Lin Yi as if he was looking at an idiot. Even if Lin Yi liked Yushu and wanted to get on her good side, there was no need for him to accompany her to death, was there? In the domestication field, even the tigers might go crazy, let alone in a free-range breeding area. If they got out of the car, wouldn't they be eaten by the tigers and lions in an instant? But thinking back to the humiliation he'd suffered, Zhang Duopan didn't mind humiliating Lin Yi as well. If the two of them got eaten by the tigers after getting out of the car, then they couldn't blame anyone else. The tiger park would only have to pay some money, and everyone in the car could testify that they wanted to get out of the car. It had nothing to do with anyone else. With that thought, Zhang Duopan's lips curved into a cold smile. He didn't know why Lin Yi and Yushu were in such a rush to die, but since they wanted to die, he'd grant them their wish. Uncle Yen, the big hero, wants to get out of the car to observe Lion King up close. Let's stop the car and open the door. Hey, Master Zhang. Uncle Yan's order was to listen to Zhang Duopan's orders, and since Zhang Duopan wanted to stop the car, then so be it. If the people really got eaten, then Zhang Duopan would be the one paying for the compensation. Uncle Yen stopped the car and opened the door. Yushu got out of the car first and Lin Yi naturally followed behind her. Yushu had only just gotten out of the car when the lions and tigers started getting restless, wanting to rush up and get rid of this delicacy. The lion behind them, however, paused when it saw Yushu and shivered when it saw Lin Yi behind Yushu. Holy shit, Long Di Dong, these two weren't going to capture him, were they? The Lion King, General Wei Wu, and Skybolt Pig had been together for a long time, and while its strength hadn't increased that much, its intelligence had increased quite a bit. It was only natural that it knew how to scheme. This was an obvious sign of evolving into a spiritual beast. The Lion King, on the other hand, was having a great time in the tiger park. He had good food and drinks every day, and he had a bunch of lions and tigers as his lackeys. His life was perfect, and if he were to be captured, wouldn't he become the lowest existence in the family again? He wouldn't even be as good as a dog or a pig. He was a big lion after all. He was a super powerful existence, but in Lin Yi's house he was living a life of oppression. Target equals under the lake. Chapter 2030. Of course, let's not talk about the pig and dog that it treated as its underlings. Let's talk about the little girl in front of it. She was even more powerful. She was like a little devil. She made it perform acrobatics all day long, which really tired it out. So the Lion King was very happy to be able to escape. Yushu didn't have much strength, and the lion knew that she was just using Yushu's power to intimidate others. But Yushu had Lin Yi behind her and he could kill it with a finger. It was only a matter of minutes, and the lion was smart enough not to mess with Yushu. At this moment, it saw that its underlings were going to eat Yushu and Lin Yi, and it was so scared that its heart almost exploded. It quickly roared, calling all of its underlings back. The underlings of the lion and tiger didn't understand why their king was calling them back, but they didn't dare disobey. Everyone in the car jumped at the Lion King's roar, especially Zhang Duopan. He looked at Lin Yi and Yushu with a gloating look. What a bunch of idiots, daring to look at the Lion King up close. They must be tired of living. Xinyan, who was sitting behind the car, finally loosened up a little. She frowned and looked at the calm Meng Yao beside her. Yao Yao, Lin Yi and Shu, it's fine, that lion used to belong to my family. Meng Yao naturally knew who the Lion King was. The Lion King. Xinyan's mouth was wide open. Yeah. Meng Yao nodded. It's that Lion King. But Xinyan, you seem to care about him a lot, don't you? We're good friends. Xinyan said, a little embarrassed. Haha. Meng Yao smiled ambiguously and didn't say anything else. However, after interacting with each other along the way, the two of them had become more familiar with each other. They had changed from calling each other by their names to calling each other by their nicknames. You come here, Yushu said, pointing at the Lion King. She pointed at the Lion King. But Zhang Duopan looked at the scene outside the car and found it unbelievable. Were these two mentally ill? How could he do such a stupid thing? Fan Ganha, on the other hand, was praying that the lions and tigers would eat Lin Yi and Yushu. That way no one would be able to stop him from pursuing Xinyan. However, under everyone's shocked gazes, the Lion King ran strangely to Yushu. He shook his head as if he was trying to please Yushu. You stupid lion, you're doing quite well, huh? He's a Lion King now? Yushu said as she pulled on the lion's ear. Net. With Lin Yi by her side and Lin Yi not stopping her, Yushu was naturally very brave. Naturally, Yushu wouldn't do something so stupid if Lin Yi wasn't around. Boo. The lion nodded its head cautiously. It was complaining incessantly in its heart. If it had known that the second young mistress would come today, it would have hidden itself. Now it was the butt of a gun. Look at your pitiful face. You think you're a Lion King? Yushu curled her lips. She looked down on the Lion King. The Lion King felt very wronged. It was true that it was a Lion King in front of others, but if it continued to be a king when you're here, wouldn't it be suicide? You're fine, you'll just pull on my ear, but the one beside you. She can send me to the Southern Skies Gate with one kick. However, Yushu had a purpose in coming here. He grew up with Mengyao. The two were almost telepathic. Mengyao went to talk to Xinyan, and Yushu understood that this Xinyan might become one of Shield Bro's girlfriends in the future. In actuality, Yushu didn't really care about how many girlfriends Lin Yi had. She was worried about Mingyao's interests, and as for herself, Yushu didn't want to think about her own matters. And so, after understanding Mingyao's feelings, she decided to help Lin Yi and Xinyan. Xinyan, however, had a rather annoying pursuer, and this person was ruining the relationship between Lin Yi and Xinyan. Yushu wasn't too happy about it, and so she wanted to find a chance to teach Fan Ganha a lesson. And now was the perfect opportunity. Yushu wouldn't have gotten out of the car to play with the Lion King otherwise. Fan Ganha, what are you doing in the car? Why aren't you getting out? I heard that Xinyan likes brave people. You're such a coward. Look at Shield Bro, he's not even afraid of lions. Yushu made a disdainful gesture at Fan Ganha. Lin Yi almost burst out laughing at Yushu's word. Why was she doing this again? Brave people? Didn't they say that Mengyao liked brave people? Why was it Xinyan now? Fan Ganha was confused, and Yushu's disdain made him panic. Who said I'm not brave? How are you guys brave? There's something wrong with this lion, it doesn't even hurt people. Yeah, there's clearly something wrong with this lion. Zhang Duopan said. What kind of lion is this? Uncle Yen, are you sure you're not mistaken? Uncle Yen found it weird as well. This lion was clearly very docile and it didn't bite at all. Why was it acting so happy when its ear was pulled? What a dumb lion. Isn't this a competition of bravery? I'm a sports student, you think I'm weaker than you? Fan Ganha made the decision, if Lin Yi and Yushu were fine, then he'd be fine as well. Lin Yi and Yushu, on the other hand, probably knew that there was something wrong with the lion, and that was why they dared to get off the car. It was just like how Zhang Duopan and the tamer said that they weren't afraid of the tiger. They were the ones who cheated, and so they naturally assumed that Lin Yi was cheating as well. With that, Fan Ganha jumped off the car, and the moment he did so, Yushu whispered something to the lion and the lion nodded quickly. But no one paid attention to this scene. How could a human talk to a lion? From their point of view, it was something impossible. In the car, Wang Xinyan heard Yushu say that she liked brave people. Since when did she like brave people? Lin Yi was brave, but Mengyao smiled faintly. Shu wants to help you get rid of your pursuer, Fan Ganha. Xinyan blinked and understood what was going on when she saw Fan Ganha getting off the car. Hey, you stupid lion, there's definitely something wrong with you. Speak, are you tamed? Fan Ganha pointed at the lion as soon as he got off. You're tuning in to the Romantic Tales YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.